Hello, everyone. I know y'all are probably like, when is this woman going live? I think I said that the last time. Whew. Sometimes y'all, I don't know if any of you all are content creators at all, but there's times where things want to update and they want to do things, and we can't help it. But I very, very much appreciate you all coming on in the room. Come on in the room. Um, Welcome back. It's been a few days since we've seen each other, and a lot has happened since we've seen each other last. We've had Marcus Rogers finally did drop his interview, if you want to call it that, with Joni Lamb. Um, it was a day late, and then he promptly took it down. It's a good thing. Stop, baby. Already you're starting. Um, it's a good thing. No, 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 we're done. That I downloaded it, because had I not downloaded it, we wouldn't have it to look at again. So he took that down. So we are in the midst of this entire Daystar saga. I'm going to welcome everyone on all the platforms. We are on, let's go over here. We are on X already. We're live over on X. I'll bring that feed up. We are live on Instagram as well. So hello to everyone there as well. And certainly you all know you're watching me here. We are live on YouTube. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to play, excuse me, I'm going to play the intro right now. We're going to let some more people come on in the room. I do encourage you all to hit the like button on your way in. I want people to know that we are here, that we are here, that we are here. So I'm going to play my intro, and then we shall be right back. All righty, all righty, all righty. Welcome back. You guys, let me know that you can hear me. Please give me a yes, I can hear you. Give me some hearts. Get down. I can tell already. You guys, hold on one sec. Kitty, come. My cat, just honest to Pete, just wants to like be all in the mix, which I love the fact that she wants to be in the mix. However, not right now. So give me some hearts. Let me know that you can hear me in the chat. AK says I can hear you. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you, AK. Thank you. Um, I did I did have to do some work with my microphone. So if there is a little bit of issue at all with the microphone, please guys just let me know. I want to do a special shout out to Sister Michelle Holly. Hey, 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 Sister Michelle. She left me a comment and then also left me a kind donation, that she'd be watching the recap, and that she's thanking me for that. I love the fact she's such a great person. So thank you, Michelle Holly. Have a successful segment, and I'm excited to hear what you have to say and teach. Okay, gang, how many of you guys have been here for any of my other Daystar things? Oh, you know what? I need to turn on. Yeah, okay. Um, how many of you guys have been here for? Get down. My other Daystar discussions. If you've been here, can you give me a one in the chat, please? If you've seen any of my other Daystar discussions. One moment. Get down. Get down. Come on, get down. Get down. Yep, stay down. Sorry, guys. If you guys can hear me, I need to know. I want to know how many of you guys have seen any of the other Daystar discussions. And there's a reason because I gotta know how many people I need to catch up. I need to help catch up. on where we're at, or how many of you guys know anything about the Daystar situation. Please give me a one in the chat or give me some feedback and let me know who knows what so that I don't have to catch everybody up, or, I know what's going on. Because if I don't start hearing from folks, I'm going to make an assumption you guys don't know anything about it. So if you guys have heard about it, let me know. For those of you who have not heard about it, let's just go on and catch you up then. And thank you guys for liking on the way in. Oh God, has it been 2 weeks now? For Pete's sake, it's been a while. It's been a while. So, about a week or two ago, we began to hear, or we heard that Johnathan Lamb had been fired from Daystar. That his mother, Joni Lamb, had fired him, reportedly for a poor performance or unable to properly complete his performance improvement plan, or his PIP. Those of you who work in corporate America, you know what a PIP is, right? We know I managed, I had organizations, so I know what a performance plan is. Improvement plan. Usually, it's no more than 3 months. They reportedly gave him an 18-month performance improvement plan, which sounds really odd to me. That sounds like I wanted 18 months to figure out how I was going to catch you up and get rid of you. That's my assumption. Okay. I better put my little banner up here. Well, while I've already started talking smack. Um, and so everything in this video is stated by me is opinion, well, unless it's fact, and by my guests, if we have a panel, by their opinion, and any criminal or scandalous acts are alleged. So here we go. So to catch you up, but at the same time that he was let go earlier in November, he also found out, he and his wife Susie found out that um well, they found out actually prior to that, but we all found out that the parents, Joni and Marcus Lamb, appear to have covered up, or been involved in a cover up of what happened, of the child SA to the granddaughter, or Johnathan and Suzy's daughter, who at the time in 2020 2021 was 5 years old. Now, that person that reportedly committed those acts, they are allegedly committed those acts. They are referring to him as Pete. Everybody pretty much knows that he's the family. I mean, it's been stated numerous times that Pete is a family member. It's been stated numerous times that at the time in 2021, when there was an incident at the beach house, and you guys really need to catch up on all of this. Hey, Ceresia, welcome. Thanks for being here, honey. And I put a link in the description box to the Roy's report that kicked all this off. Here's the um let me share my screen. Yep. So this is the Roy's report. You can find, there's a link to this down in the description on the YouTube channel. Um, and this is what we read. It was on November 20th. It was shortly thereafter. I think it was right around Thanksgiving or something. I found out about this. And so, the former Daystar executive and wife accused Joni Lamb of covering up daughter's SA. Now, this rocked everybody's world. This literally rocked everybody's world. Not just, I mean, it really rocked Christendom, I'll say. And guys, if you don't know me, Heart of Inspiration is my channel name. My name is Dr. Lisa Brewer. I'm a doctor of metaphysics and divinity. And I also have been an ordained non-denominational Christian minister since, oh God, I was 30. So for 26 years. For 26 years. And there are going to be some people in the chat that were underneath me when I was youth pastoring and things like that. But I also walked in the office of the prophetess. I grew up in non-denominational Christendom. I grew up listening to Kenneth Copeland, Kenneth Hagin, Marilyn Hickey, um, Jimmy Swagger. He was Assemblies, right? Or he is Assemblies, I should say. Oh my gosh, Tammy Faye Baker and her husband. I can't remember his name. So all that, I grew up listening to all that. I ministered in that church. So this section of Christianity is very near and dear to my heart. And while I might not be ministering in a formal church these days, and while I have my own issues and form of church hurt, Jim Baker, thank you, AK. I literally, let me tell you something. This daughter's, this child essay, incest, other SA, of adult women, essay of men, teenagers. This is rampant. Not only that rampant, adultery, abuse to, we'll just call it corn, addiction to that, addictions to other, substances, um, anything that's going on in the world is going on in the ministry and inside churches all across this country and all around this world. It doesn't matter what denomination they are or are not. They could be non denominational, they could be denominational. This kind of stuff is happening on a regular basis and has happened. All kinds of spiritual abuse as well, right? The manipulation and the cult like behavior. The manipulation, and this is what I'm really seeing. This is what got me the most with this whole thing was there's such this desire to cover up for the good of the brand, the good of the church, the good of the money, the good of the ministry. Let's just like we can deal with this in-house. And even when it's criminal behavior, we don't have to take it outside. That's not right. And you can spout off whatever verses you want to. I don't care. And the reason why I don't care is because that it is not biblical to allow this type of behavior to permeate throughout the congregation or the organization and just sweep it under the rug because love covers a multitude of sins. And to ignore the hurt, the pain, and whatnot of the person, the victim in the case, to not really allow for their healing, to shut their mouths, basically, right? To disempower them and shut off their voice. This is not right. And so, for me, as it has always been the case, but this lit a new light. I mean, this lit a new fire in me to say, you know what? This ain't right. And because I have a different point of view, because a lot of the people, you could start naming people off that are on these channels, on these networks, and are huge, huge, huge. If they were big in the late 90s, early 2000s, I probably ministered with them at some point, form of fashion, at some point. I saw a lot. I saw a lot. Not proud of it, but I saw a lot. I heard about a lot. And there was just no avenue for anyone to get any justice, any true justice. And this needs to be cleaned up. And this is not just because it's the church. This is, to me, it's a humanity situation. And if you just want to cover things up, then you know what we're looking at? To me, we're looking at really cult like behavior. So I want to welcome everybody here that's here. Hey, Urza Dressed. Well, that's Urza Dressed. So I have a question. Is this like some sort of like an actual like character in a cartoon series or an anime series or something? Pardon me for not having any idea. That is my son's purview is anime. I got no ideas. Thanks so much. Oh, you're at work. Okay. Welcome to all the people that are at work. If you guys can, still hit that like button. Hey, Christina, how are you? You never understood the desire and drive to cloak the perpetrator, but yet neglect the victims. I never understood that either. And I will tell you though, the craziest thing to me is that when it's as if it's for the good, like they'll say it's for the good of the kingdom. that it's best that we not discuss this, that we not bring it in front of the tribunal, because that we not bring it to the judge, that we not bring it to the jury, that we not prosecute, because it's for the good of the church. It's for the good of the ministry. We don't want the world to see or to think that we're a bunch of weirdos and a bunch of creeps. The most insane thing to me, also another insane thing to me, is how a lot of times within the church walls there's this perception that somehow the outside world is actually looking at the church and like thinking things like, I've been in situations where it was like, oh, everybody around thinks that we're a bunch of weirdos, and um, that they're charismatic, right? And we're a bunch of weirdos. We're rolling around on the ground, and the first lady of the church is like doing all kinds of adult type sin and this, that, and the fourth. And then when I left that particular ministry for various reasons, it was right after my father had passed, and I'm in the community. What I found was that the community wasn't thinking anything about this group of people. They had no thought about them. Do you know what the one thought they had about them? They were judgmental. Do you know what the one thought they had about them? Is there was a lot of people that were amongst the community there that had been severely hurt, severely judged, definitely not loved by that particular church. So it wasn't whether or not they thought they were doing all manners of whatever. It was that and the other thing that was thought about that was that there was some rather known cover-ups to some things that had gone on. So, yes. So this is the thing for me. If the church wants to repair its perception in the world and really do good, then it needs to do good. If you want to repair your perception in the world and you really want to follow, if you really honestly want to not just follow God's word, but the energy of the Christ, not just Christ, but really live a spirit-led or a life of Christ consciousness, where where that Christ energy permeates every part of your being. Then when stuff like this happens, you're not going to cover for the perpetrator. You're not going to sweep it under the rug. You're going to make sure that the proper justice is brought to them. That's what you're going to do. You're going to protect your children. You're going to protect your women. You're going to protect the teenagers. That's what you're going to do. You're not going to abuse your position within the organization and say, you must submit to me because I'm the voice of God. Now, to her defense, she didn't say that. That's Joni. She didn't say that. To her defense, in her defense, Jimmy, whatever his name is, Evans, said that about her. But that's a twisted thinking. At what point, like if we're gonna believe part of the Bible, we're gonna have to believe all the Bible. Okay? If we're gonna believe part of the Bible, if you're gonna say that all the Bible is the unadulterated word of God, I might also tell you that I do believe that man has changed this, that there have been men that have changed things here and there to suit their needs in their particular cultural, what have you, like situations. But we're not going to discuss that today. We'll all discuss that another day. But if you're going to say that you're leading a Christian life and that this is right, then I'm going to need you to also believe in and then put forward the fact that I was under the impression that the whole point of the sacrifice of Christ was so that we could talk to and commune with God ourselves. That's what right? Because then the quote unquote priesthood went away, the Old Testament priesthood, where they went into the temple and they wore the breastplate that had the 12 crystals on it, and then as the spirit of God and the glory of God would reflect off the crystals, then it would also then reflect onto the ark and illuminate various uh, Hebrew letters, and that's how they would get the messages from God during the high feasts, especially feast times, but then also in other times when they were going into the tabernacle. So it it beautiful, right? Just absolutely like what a magnificent methodology of communication. But I thought all that stuff was supposed to be going away, right? I thought that was the fulfillment of Jesus. So we could hear for ourselves. Now, are there still prophets like people like I mean, I was called, I was they that was my title, prophetess. Um, we could discuss all those titles another time. Um, but I believe everybody can hear from God. I we gotta do right. Christina says, "I understood that God would have would have the final judgment, but what does that have to do with our call to protect the body?" Absolutely. Behind every sinister act, there's something deeper that needs to be cleaned up. I completely agree with you. This is not about final judgment. I'm not pronouncing I'm not pronouncing judgment on anybody's soul. We can all have that discussion another day, another time. I am and even if I were, one soul is not more important than the other. So one soul, aka that little girl, that 5-year old at the time, 5-year old, she should be what about 8 now? Little girl, what about her soul? What about her mind? What about her spirit? What about her emotions? What about the fact that she's now got to deal with this? And I've discussed this, and we're gonna have another video on this. I really do feel like they need to take her back to counseling, and I'll tell you why another time. The last person who was interviewed is supposed to be the perp. Yes. Big sins have big messes and years of things to be worked to in order not to fall back into the mess and offend again. I agree with you, and there's a lot of healing that needs to happen because because I do. Okay. This is not about so I want everyone let's lay this out right now. Yes, I'm an ordained minister. I am not doing any of this or saying any of this to be against Christianity, against the church, against anything. Okay? However you interact with that which created us is how you react or how you interact with whom created us. Okay? All of the symbology that I have behind me, if we do a little research into it, I think we're actually going to find that it's not exactly, in fact, that is not exactly, it's not what we've been told that it is. And in fact, that who created us, aka God, aka Mother, Father, God, aka Spirit, Creator, has revealed themselves throughout the ages. We can't just think that in the last 2,000 years that the only people that ever got to know God in any way was in the last 2,000 years when the new religion of Christianity came about. Okay. I want you to hear my heart and hear my voice and hear the energy and hear what's being stated because I'm not going to state anything that's not true. All right? And that's not in love. Joni did agree with him on being the voice of God at Daystar. I found it interesting, and maybe we'll go over those audios in the near future. I just found it super interesting that she kind of she's in this position of power, and yet she's letting all the men around her kind of fight her battles for her. This is what I've picked up on in all the audios. Complete aside, we're about to get into the Marcus Rogers interview. I have, I think, what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of notes where I meticulously lined up what was stated in the Marcus Rogers interview that, but actually I have it downloaded. It's been removed, like he's been privatized that video. Marcus Rogers has, because it's gotten so much flack and fallout for it. But anyway, I meticulously took the pieces, the salient and very important pieces, right? And then I cross referenced it with not only what Joni has said in the past, but then also with what Johnathan, and Suzy said, and across all of their interviews, and then the interview with Denise Boggs as well. I'm seeing consistencies, and then I'm seeing inconsistencies, and so we're gonna call it out because that was trash. That interview was trash. I don't know Marcus Rogers. I don't have a dog in that fight. But honestly, that was the most unprepared interview I've ever seen in my life. So anyway, in her audios though, yes, I just find it very interesting that she has all these men coming up to her defense, but you're the leader of Daystar. So, and the only reason I'm saying that is because if you are the leader of an organization, and now because the patriarch of the family has gone on to, transitioned, you're the matriarch and the leader of your family now. You're the elder of the family. You should be able to stand on your own too. If you're gonna jump out here big, bad, and bold like this, spending $100,000 on your honeymoon and taking, in my opinion, taking other people's husbands, then you should probably be able to stand on your own 2 feet. You should probably be able to put your big girl panties on. I don't want to offend nobody, but we're all grown here. Okay. So y'all should be able to handle it. You should be able to put your big girl panties on, and you should be able to stand on your own too. And if this is how you feel, then baby girl, then say how you feel. Say it with your chest. But as far as I'm concerned, I ain't got no respect for you, because what you're doing is you're doing a typical victim narcissistic play. You're gaslighting the situation, and then you got your little flying monkeys to go do your bidding. Marcus has a video out saying Johnathan was dishonorable for. Ooh, Marcus Rogers has that. I'm gonna find that one. Ooh, darling, prayer power. Is it on his channel? Marcus has a video out saying Johnathan was dishonorable for exposing his mom, not mentioning that his mom was stalking and tracking him. Hence, why he exposed her for safety. We're going to talk about all of that. We're definitely going to talk about that. Oh, okay, Cerise is standing up for me. Hey, Andrea, how are you? You got to reverse the indoctrination. It's going to be a long road ahead. I know, baby. I know. Speaking of, no, absolutely. I agree with you, honey. Yes, we want to see justice for the victims. Absolutely, a reckoning for Christina. Yes, Teresa, if you want to put that up, no problem. I just said that Christianity is new. If you look at all the spirituality practices, Deborah, and please learn. If you look at the practices of spirituality throughout the millennia, my dear, Christianity is the new kid on the block. You're allowed to believe whatever you want to. I'm not trying to make you disbelieve anything, because if it allows you to walk in love and allows you to help your fellow man, it allows you to be the purpose driven human being that you're meant to be, then I love it. That's exactly what we want. But what I'm not here for is anybody that hides behind any religion and uses that religion as a cloak for sin, for harming others, for destroying others. I'm not for that. Okay? I don't, that's fine. The time to be prepared was before you entered into that arena. I knew he wasn't prepared even when he did the Johnathan and Suzy interview. He came there with an agenda, or he came there wanting clout. And at first I was standing behind Marcus. Now I haven't seen Rachel Lamb's interview. I need to go see hers because that's the woman of the hour, right? Because Rebecca is married to JW. Is that right? And I don't really, whatever. I don't really follow these people. But I, mm, I'm just gonna ask Richard, where your husband? But it doesn't. To me, the damage is already done. I've watched this video now twice. No, three, almost three times through. You were there for a job interview. You were like, the time to be prepared was before the test, and you did not pass it. Come on, babe. You gotta get down. You failed. Yeah. Um. Yeah, this is very true. Okay, here we go. And that's even better, dear. That's even better. But the consciousness, and this is the last time I'm going to address this, okay? Because that's not what we're here for. The consciousness of Christ, the onset of Christ, the advent of Christ, 2,000 years ago, of all the spiritual practices and all of the practices that help you to be in relationship, okay? It's the new kid on the block. That's just the reality, all right? It's just reality. It's nothing negative. I don't know why everyone gets their panties in a bunch over that. All right, here we go. You guys ready? And again, guys, I'm not going to debate. I'm not here to debate any of that. I honestly don't have the energy, nor do I have the desire to debate any of it. I really don't. If you're not going to be able to handle it, you know what I'm saying? That's fine. Um, but I'm here to discuss cancel. I'm here to discuss what happened to a little girl. I'm here to discuss the interview first and then align it with everything else and what happened to that child. That's what I'm here for. We can talk about all this religious stuff and all getting hung up on this and hung up on that later. We can debate all of that later. But that's not what this is about right now. Just like I don't feel like why are people paying so much attention to her divorce, the her marrying the divorced man. I'll pay attention to that only because it seems that that was the most important thing for her rather than her grandchild. Oh, where are my downloads? Oh no. Okay, no, that's not it. No, guys. Shit, you're kidding me. Go on. Here, I'm going to show you guys what I'm. Oh my God, I'm so pissed. Guys, look. Let me show you this. I think it's going to be this one. So earlier today, that damn video was there. Oh man, he took his whole video down. Hey, Sister Michelle. Let me make it bigger. He took his. I knew I should have screen recorded that video. So these are all the videos that I've downloaded, and earlier today it was up. It was there. Oh my God, I'm so pissed. All right. Well, this is going to be a lot shorter of a video than it was gonna be. I'm so mad. What a jerk. Okay, so guys, okay, here we go. I'm gonna show Marcus Rogers his channel. Oh my dang it. I'm so mad at myself for not doing that. So here he is. Here's Marcus. I repent publicly. I made a huge mistake. Dude, I'm so mad. Oh my God. Yeah, that was a jerk move. That was a complete jerk move. It does. Misogyny, absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to go through still what was said. This is going to be interesting then. I'm going to go through still because I literally spent hours doing this. Am I glad that he decided to say that he made a mistake? Yeah. Are we allowed to make mistakes? Absolutely. But what he put out there and what has already been put out there, um, let me just tell you by platforming her, because it was up for like about 24 hours or maybe less. 7 minutes and 28 seconds into the video, Joni talks about the 2020 incident, and that 2020 incident was the incident where Pete came to Suzy and tells Suzy that supposedly the baby walked in on him, and I say the baby, she was 5. The baby walked in on him, um, and he was using the bathroom. That's the story that Suzy states and continues to state. Joni says he was in the shower. Actually, that was before November 2020. Joni says he was in the shower. Suzy consistently says that he was using the restroom, but everybody says that Pete came to Suzy and said, "Hey, she walked in on me. I'm so sorry." Nobody made a big deal about it. And a lot of people, when I was talking about this before, literally thought, okay, well, that's a little weird. Why didn't he lock the door? Guys, I've seen it happen. It doesn't, like, when you're at a big family thing and little kids, they'll walk in. If you don't lock the door, if you forget, that didn't freak me out. I'm wondering if he kept, let me look and see if he kept the video up of his interview. He didn't even keep up his interview with Johnathan and Suzy. Well, he says he made a mistake, but threw but threw them under the bus. Oh, okay. Y'all want to see that video? Should we watch it, you guys? Should we watch that video? Because I don't want to listen. I hope y'all don't have sensitive ears. I don't want to cuss somebody out. I don't want to put somebody on blast and I ain't heard what they had to say. So since you messed up my whole things, my whole situation here, because I have 4 boom, 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 boom. I was ready for you. But since that's how we're gonna play it today, okay, I got you. I got you. Here, let me find my little thing. Where's the overlay? Here we go. Here's my copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes um I'm so sorry, such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Y'all ready to go? Let's see what Mr. Mans has to say. Let's see. Hey, muscle number one, how you doing? And by the way, thank you, Raymond Moody. Thank you so much, my dear. Let's see what Mr. Mans has got to say. All right. Okay. Let me pop you up, pause you, because you want to play games. I got games for you. I got plenty of games. Let's see what he has to say for himself, because then I could even further bust him clean out. It just makes me sick to my dang gun stomach. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is on his channel. Let me copy. Okay, I'm copying this so that I can put it in the description, and I'll put it in the description in a minute. This is Marcus. This is on Marcus Rogers's channel. Fair use, fair use. And this is my commentary on it. Here we go.
Before I speak about anything, and I'm going to try to make this short, sweet, and simple.
Did can you all hear that? Because if not, I can turn it up a little bit on my end as well. Let me turn it up just a hair so y'all can hear it. And I'm not gonna speed it up. So he said he gonna make this short, sweet, and simple. Okay, cool.
Number one, I repent publicly, all right, for jumping into what I thought was a pool and it became an ocean of mess and drama. I remember when God gave me that word about he's going to expose the roots of things and it was going to sound like a movie. This is literally like a movie. And even though,
You jumped in a pool, but it became an ocean. I'm already irritated.
my heart, I don't want to say was in the right place. I felt like, hey, I just want to share my platform with Johnathan and Suzy so they can speak out, share the side of this story. The reality of the matter is I was not informed. And if anything, shouldn't have got involved. But if anything, I should have just let them send a video in where I'm not interviewing them. They're just telling their side of the story. And then I just post it and I don't say anything and just let God be the judge. I made a mistake.
Okay, can I ask y'all a question? I'm gonna have to keep stopping because I don't want him. I don't know him like that. I don't know him at all. So I don't know if he gonna try to copyright strike a sister. I don't know nothing about that. Okay, so that's why I'm stopping. Can I just say something though, real quick? They had already put out a video, sir. By the time you dropped your little thing, they had already put a video out on their own channel. I think Laura Lynn had already spoken to them potentially. Um, you came into this just so you could get in on it. They had already spoken to a channel called The Unction, right? They had already spoken. I get that. We have to stop. This has been my thing. Dutch, I love you. We live to learn, absolutely. But this is my thing. We have got to stop not calling out tomfoolery and effery. We have to stop. We have to stop just allowing people to continue to behave poorly. And then we're just, oh, it's all under the blood. You know what else is under the blood? Justice. What else is supposed to be signified by Christianity? Or just humanity, period? Just having a normal human moral compass. A normal human moral compass dictates that you don't let people that harm children just run free and run rampant. Now, in this person's case, hello, sir, we wasn't sending for you. We didn't call for you. You jumped your tail on in here and didn't know nothing about nothing. And you thought that just because you are who you are and you have 850,000 subscribers, which I think he lost a few thousand over the last couple of days, that nobody was going to say nothing to you. You better miss me. Here we go. They didn't need him to just play a
Mistake
video.
going down there, not being informed about both sides of the story. The Bible says a fool only hears one side of the matter. I made a foolish decision. I made a decision that was based on, I thought I have personal experience with dealing with people who have been abused. I've had to confront abusers in the church, in the pulpit. I've seen them go to jail. I was emotional because it disgusts me, the thought of something like that happening to a child. And to be honest, when I read the story, I'm like, there's no way in the world you're going public, you know, against your mom like this, and what your father built, and saying these kind of things. But the reality of the matter is that was not wisdom. The Bible says a fool only hears one side of the matter. And I was a fool to go down there, even though I thought I was doing the right thing. What I should have did, guys, send me a video, I'll upload it so your side can be heard.
Nobody asked for you to send a video. Oh, he could say he don't need subscribers. You Rosa. Rosa chose violence. Um, hang on, guys. Here we go. Have you guys ever heard of a website called Social Blade? Have you ever heard of it? Ever heard of of something called Social Blade? Marcus Rogers. Okay. Oop. Uh, Okay. What Social Blade does is it gives you information on whether or not, on how much people, potentially how much people make on YouTube and other platforms. So let us see if I can get that info. Oop, don't do that. Sorry, gang. Let's see if I can get that information. My computer's like, girl, you are doing the most tonight. Okay. Um, oh, no, I don't need an ad. Okay. So can you guys see this? Can you guys see this? Let me take this down. Oh, goodness. Okay. Let me make this one a little bit bigger. While we're talking about we don't need subscribers. Now, while subscribers don't necessarily give you money, okay, what subscribers will do though is the larger your channel, the more YouTube is going to push your content out. So if we look at this, his thing has a B grade. Okay. So his overall channel is a B grade, and they graded on a number of things. But it represents the social blade rank against their whole entire database. Do you see this? It is estimated that he, from his YouTube channel only, makes between $856. I guarantee he's making more than that, and $13,700 a month. His estimated yearly earnings are somewhere between 10.3K, I'm guaranteed it's more than that, to $164,000 a year. For a lot of people that I know personally that are very large YouTubers, this, I'm not going to say it's accurate, but you can get a good guess. I'm going to guess if I were to look over the views um of his other videos. Let's see here. So he's getting 189,360 video views. He took down John and Suzy's, so we don't know how many views. He privatized it. When you privatize stuff, that's when we can't see how many views. But he's regularly getting, almost 100,000, well over or 200,000 views per video. Depending on what his CPM is, or his RPM, I should say, revenue per thousand. I guarantee you he's making $13,000 a month. I guarantee you, had he not privatized those other videos, so he won't make any money off of them now. But he, in November, it looked like he had very healthy views. So you could say I don't need subscribers. He's kind of right. He's kind of right, but also YouTube pushes your information, your videos, A, the more kind of controversial, but then B, the larger your platform is, the more you get pushed. Okay. So you can lie all you want to. You need it. And for him to say, I dare him to say, I don't need YouTube. Okay, cool, bruh. That I don't know anybody. If can somebody tell me here, would you move? Would you lose sleep? Would it impact you if you had 13, 14, $20,000 a month coming from one source and then all of a sudden it was cut in half? Oh, you'd be sick. Don't play with me. Can't stand it. I don't need. You're right. You don't. And I'm not. And trust and believe. After this, I won't be watching him. I didn't subscribe to him. No way. I don't care. All right, here we go, guys.
Right. And so, with that being said, I want to, I'm praying for the daughter, the granddaughter, because she's the real victim in all of this, regardless of how you look at it. She's a victim of a $1 billion Christian company having this fallout. And so, I want to say this, right? I made a mistake, and now it's like, okay, I got to clean it up. I got everybody calling me. Now, mind you, there's a lot of people praising me. There's a lot of people saying, Marcus, that was awesome. You did the right thing. The easy thing.
If y'all go back and watch Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson's broadcast from last night, and she showed, and I watched some myself. She showed the comments. There wasn't. There were thousands and thousands and thousands of comments of, you were not prepared. You clearly didn't understand the assignment. You did not know what was going on. You threw John and Suzy under the bus. Is this your audition for Daystar? They were not supporting him. So what, I don't know who was praising him.
Obviously would have been just to leave it there and leave it alone. The problem is I did ignore some red flags. I felt some things in the spirit. I knew everything wasn't, you know, but I did something and it was foolish. Bottom line. And so to the daughter, to the granddaughter, right? I'm praying for you. And so I got all these phone calls from these pastors, and all of the pastors, even though they didn't agree on everything that was going on, they pretty much were saying the same things privately that I was feeling. And one of the things that they said, even though they didn't agree, is they said the biblical and honorable thing for you to do is for you to go get Joni's side of the story, because you inserted yourself, because you went down there and let them say what they said on your platform, which I shouldn't have did. Now
Why shouldn't he have done it? Why would you not platform this couple whose platform has been stolen from them, whose platform has been removed from them? He, Johnathan, is Marcus Lamb's son. Unless I'm wrong, it's his only boy, his only son. And his mother stole his birthright from him. Can we just, that's my opinion. Now, y'all don't have to like my opinion. I really don't care. Whomever's listening and whoever's not. Y'all don't have to like my opinion. Don't. Don't. But what you're not going to do is right is right, wrong is wrong. When you listen to those audio tapes, she removed him from his birthright. She basically said, yeah, I know what your daddy said, but I don't like what you're doing right now in regard to how you view my new marriage. So I'm going to take your birthright from you. And she put it under the cloak of poor performance. Listen, I've been in corporate America too long. I know those games. So these people, these two people, and I can call them young people because they're about to probably, well, they're probably a little older than my kids, but they've had their platform removed from them. They no longer have a platform. They have a small YouTube channel, which if anybody knows Johnathan and Suzy, and about the happenstance, y'all will see this video. Please get on your YouTube channel and please put out content. You don't have to put content about this, but get back to your ministry. Do it what it is that you are called to do. Go on your platform and start creating content. Create content here on YouTube. Create content on the Big Green Machine, aka Rumble. Create content on X. Create content and get paid. Create content for Facebook Lives. That's how that's going to be a great way for you guys to replace and I believe surpass that income. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that would really really support you. um so that's just my feeling on that, okay? But this man, what do you mean you did the wrong thing? You didn't do the wrong thing. And honestly, I understand the pastors telling him and giving him counsel of, well, basically, you put your big head into it. So now you better take your tail over there and go talk to her. And okay, like, I guess I could see that. But at the end of the day, she has Daystar. She still has $1 billion network. She put herself on that darn Joni's Table Talk, that broke back Christian version of the View. Can I ask, why do Christians have to copy things that are going on in the world? I never understood that. Like, I asked that question when I was actively in the church. Why do we copy it? Why not just do your own thing? If you're supposed to be in this world but not of this world, why are you copying the stuff that the world do? That's a whole nother. Can we? I mean, maybe somebody can help me with that sometime. We have so sad he did more harm than good. I, you know what though? I think because remember what the Bible does say, that God redeems the time, right? And everything works together for the good of those who love the Lord. So what he did in actuality to me, first of all, that exposes yourself, sir. Anyway, but second of all, enough of us saw it, and I do have the notes, and I can go through where, I mean, um where she says that the bathroom issue was no issue, and Suzy already said that, where she says that that she felt that strict instructions, Marcus gave her instructions to take over Daystar. And in the Marcus interview, or Marcus then says in that interview that he was called to expose whatever, okay, fine, the roots and stuff. But I have notes in here. Never has Johnathan or Suzy questioned whether or not she was to take over Daystar. Johnathan says that he always understood that it was once both of them had passed that he would be president. So there was never this jealousy issue with them or this trying to take over. At 17 minutes 15 seconds, why let's see, why are we making a big deal about the trip? Um, why are we making why was it a big deal on the taking the trip? Um, oh, I got it, because they had taken further trips afterwards, right? Further, like Johnathan and Suzy and the kids went with them to more of the family gatherings or whatever, like the next year or after she got married to Doug or before, I'm not sure. Anyway, and Marcus was like, "Well, I don't understand. If there's something had happened, why would they go on the trip? Why would they take, their daughter around Pete again? Da 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 da." Now, never mind the fact that Pete was persona non grata at their house. Pete was persona non grata at Rebecca house. We're just going to ignore that. But also, I wrote down, because at that point, this is still 2022, right after Marcus had passed, the Marcus Lamb. Johnathan and Suzy had been told that Pete was cleared. They had been told by Joni and Marcus Lamb, their parents, his parents, that the man was cleared. So even though there was a little bit of uncomfortability, they were trying to make it work. This is what they've consistently said. So I have all these notes. Okay, now there's a polygraph test. Supposedly, now all of a sudden, Joni, sometime in 2020, well, supposedly before Marcus had passed, because she mentioned that. That's why I wish I had that. I should have recorded that. Man, I'll follow my first mind next time. I heard it in my spirit, child. I heard it. Record the damn thing. Anyway, she made mention that in 2021, so in between August of 2021 when this occurred, I think it's August, right? Or it's April 20, whenever this occurred. And then when Marcus Lamb passed, at some point, somehow, after the Denise Boggs, um, after she'd gotten her forensic person to want to talk to Pete, Pete didn't want to go back and talk without his wife, because his wife was answering all his questions for him. Because a guilty man can't answer the questions. A guilty man can't answer them questions. Not when you have a real forensic investigator, talking to you. Anyway, he wouldn't go back and talk to the forensic investigator without his wife. What? Was the lady that's in her 60s going to come on to you or something? Were you afraid you're going to fall into adultery? Anyway, so supposedly there was some polygraph Pete took that supposedly he passed at 90 something point 98.5 or 99.5%. Okay. Well, interestingly enough, from what I hear, Doug Weiss's group that had counseled, remember that ministry counseled Joni and Marcus when Marcus had his 7-year affair. That group has a polygraph company. Now, we don't know if that was polygraph people or not. I don't know. But I just think it's awful funny that, 2, 3 months after the man transitions, you don't already, you done filed for divorce in January. And I'm trying to get a hold of that paperwork right now. I will get it. I finally found the courthouse that I need to go to. So I'm trying to get that information out of Colorado. But you filed for divorce January the 7th. The man was barely cold. He was barely cold in the grave. I mean, had he fully transitioned to his spiritual body by this point? Like, the man died on November the 30th. Bruh, you, 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 you was there at the funeral. Just wanted to know that he was actually in the casket. What you need to know if that man was in that casket for? Now, this is why I'm saying all this. This is complete conjecture. If y'all willing to go down the conjecture rabbit hole with me just for a second, I just, I, and we'll get back to this man here in a minute. If it's true that Doug Weiss's ministry had or has had at the time polygraph experts, and I would assume since he was doing, you know, marriage ministry and intimacy marriage ministry and all that, that somehow, some way, bruh, somehow, some way, he, I'm sure that there was questions about, are you still cheating or did you cheat or whatever. So I've seen that happen before where marriage counselors have polygraph. So let's just say that it was his polygraph. This is just complete conjecture. This is theory time. This is complete conjecture. I'm just connecting a couple dots. Potentially. What if that was one of his polygraph people that performed the polygraph test on Pete? So, and that he supposedly passed. And the reason I say in air quotes supposedly passed, because of anybody in this whole, I believe Johnathan and Suzy, but I also believe Denise Boggs. That woman she ain't got a horse in this race. That woman is here in North Carolina, living her best life, got her little retreat center. She doing her thing. She don't need none of this smoke. She's not trying to be involved in all these shenanigans. So she just gonna tell it like it is. She's like, listen, they came to me. I was on the show. They was having problems. I tried to help them. Then all this came down. I tried to help them. I couldn't clear Pete because Pete wouldn't come back and bring his tail back here without his wife in tow. He's too busy running up underneath her skirt. He couldn't answer them questions without her. So I can't clear him because he didn't do what it needed to be done to be cleared. This is all by the time Marcus has passed. Because remember, if you go back to Laura Lynn's um interview with Denise Boggs, she also talks about how she was on the list. She was getting daily calls. She was praying with the family. She was a family friend. So they tell her, we're just gonna drop it. We're not gonna go any further. Marcus Lamb tells her this, that Joni has had some unction of the spirit and that damn whatever. Right? Then there's what it is. Okay. Okay, great. So she done heard from the Lord and peace been cleared. So she's like, oh, okay, well, whatever, so she drops it. Now fast forward to the funeral. Here's Pete begging her to clear his name. Well, why Pete begging her to clear his name if he took a polygraph test and passed it? Also, just a real quick question. If you in fact passed that polygraph test, why haven't we seen it? Because if I had a polygraph test by a legitimate polygraph person, I don't know what they're called, and I'm being accused, even with a false name, because we didn't all figured out who this man is. I mean, I don't even know who the man was, and we didn't all figure it out. So if you had that, wouldn't you put that out for public consumption? You might, unless the person that or the company that performed the polygraph examination was your new husband's company. Oh boy, that gets real rough, don't it? That gets tough. The things he said about Jonathan Collins. Oh, I even got Potiphar's. Ooh, Potiphar. Ooh, I can't wait. Okay, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. I'm trying to catch up. Watch him make another video. Apologize for this one. I'm gonna record this one because I'm not gonna let you forget, bruh. Amanda Grace last night. I had to find Amanda Grace. A poorly equipped judge when no king is in court. My God, today. Thanks. Yes, please don't forget to hit the like button. He does make a lot, but I'm not mad at him for making a lot of videos. Like I wished I had more time and I need to be making more videos. Okay, so that's a copyright disclaimer. Um, I watched his video. I did enjoy his video of Johnathan and Suzy it really, like, I thought he was genuine in that video. I thought Marcus was genuine in that video. I felt like Johnathan and Suzy really were able to really kind of express themselves in a different kind of way. I felt like Johnathan felt so comfortable, like, here is another man that believes me, that is supporting me. And he, you could just see him like kind of coming out and just being so much more confident and everything. Like the further he gets away from his mother's submission or leadership, have you guys noticed the stronger Jonathan gets and the more like in his own? Like I'm like, right? Like there's a strength that comes because it's not being beaten down. Yep, Laura Lynn was great. Okay. Um, I really enjoyed Laura Lynn. Thank you so much, Raymond Moody. Are you any relation to Moody, like the Moody Bible Institute? Any relation? Or did you just choose that name? They didn't sign the end. They absolutely. And just so we're all clear, NDAs or non-disclosure agreements are not the same as non-competes. Sometimes they'll have a non-compete clause in an NDA, but NDAs or non I should say NDAs are not enforceable when it comes to a a criminal act, and non-competes are almost always not enforceable unless you're using the previous company's IP or intellectual property, because you cannot stop somebody else from earning a living. So, just so you guys know. Dutch says, I dealt with a few preachers from Daystar. Dutch, we should talk. The submit or leave is common. It is. It is. The submit or leave is common. I will say in a lot of charismatic churches, and the only well, I had that in the Southern Baptist too. Um, the submit or leave is very common in charismatic churches. I'm sure there are many other churches, but because there's such a high emphasis put on the hierarchy. And I don't know, like I've been listening to some other lately. I didn't typically listen to this before, but I've been listening to some folks and teaching on this, and I find it interesting that there is a movement now within Christianity. Thank God. I think it's always been there. Like primarily with the evangelicals or the non-tongue talking ones. So there's this kind of like right non-tongue talking. Whatever. Ones that Christians that are like, listen, all this stuff is just garbage, right? This whole hierarchy thing. We're all supposed to be equal. Now there are other things that we have to do that we are assigned to do in the church, but that doesn't necessarily make one over the other. And this whole cover thing, like, I grew up with the whole you gotta like have a covering and all of this stuff. Like, and I can remember when I was just learning about how to really operate in my gift of sight and my gift of knowledge and wisdom and prophecy. And that my covering at that point was a wonderful man by the name of Larry Huggins. Great man. Great man. Just full of love. Oh my gosh. He was so good. Um, but now I understand like that really wasn't biblical. There wasn't like so we create these hierarchies and these deities almost right unto themselves. Yeah. Marcus Rogers fella. Ooh. And I didn't say that. Oh, Eddie Long was cover theology too. I didn't know that. I we mm. You know what? There's a lot of things that I'm not proud about that I knew about in my when I was in my 30s, early 30s, and strong in ministry. Um, knowing, or, we all heard, okay, there wasn't social media then either, though. Y'all have to understand that. So we would hear rumblings about things and rumors. And, anytime anybody came to me and said, hey, something's happened to me, I didn't bother with the go back and go, I didn't take them back to who they said the perpetrator was. I'm like, you better go to the police, go to the cops. Because to me, the sensible thing is this goes beyond a simple spat. And we read that series of verses, I think a couple videos ago, where we're talking about how to take care of disputes with the amongst the brethren. This ain't a dispute. This is an assault. This ain't a dispute. This is an assault. Those are very different things. So no, I'm not going to my brother or sister. Because first of all, if you're doing this, you're not my brother or my sister. Can we talk? Can Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Can you be a true believer, a true Christian believer? I'm asking y'all. I'm not, I'm asking a question. If, is it in Matthew? I'm not sure. If that scripture applies to the brethren and the sisterin, I'm gonna have to go down to the, if it's for the brethren and the sisterin to solve and resolve disputes amongst the body. And we are talking about the SA of a child here, or an adult, or a teenager. We're talking about a heinous act. Is that person truly a believer or not? Now, is it for me to judge what's in your heart? No, it's not. But I'm gonna let the law figure out whether or not you did it or you didn't do it, because then I'm gonna know whether or not you was a true believer or not. I mean, because the law gonna have to deal with this. We're not in the same day of old where there was judges and you went to the safe city, and if you didn't get there ahead of time, or there was some Sanhedrin council, or there was whatever. You don't bring somebody before the elders and then decide they're gonna stone you to death. That's not the law, and religion or religious structures or spiritual practices. Those two things are separate. You commit a heinous crime like this, bruh, you got to go to the you going to the law. Terry, not okay. Now again, I don't know for sure. What I'm hearing is, as part of Doug's ministry, they did have, at one point, I don't know if they still do, but they did have polygraph experts that would administer polygraph tests to their married the couples that they were counseling if needed. I'm just saying, because I am a logical, critical thinking human being that was a biochemistry major at Northwestern University, where I did get an academic scholarship. I'm not a dummy. I graduated in the top 5% of my high school graduating class of over 500. I'm not a dummy. I am a very successful business owner. I'm not a dummy. I'm just using critical thinking, right? I got into my Scooby Doo mystery machine and we just doing our thing. If that's true, and now we can, then here we go, right? Here it is. Here it be. It would stand to reason to me then, because when and her and see the coward took the video down, so now I can't even go back. But I do know that at 18 minutes and 35 seconds, she starts talking about this polygraph, and she mentions the fact that the polygraph was around before Marcus went on to be with the Lord, or as she says, graduated to heaven. That means it had to be done before November 30th of 2021. So if that's the case, why, and this is true, why is Pete asking Denise Boggs to clear him? Now, you could probably say because Denise was the one that didn't clear him and she's the respected family friend. Okay, cool. But why then, if you have this polygraph test that you pass with flying colors, why, and there's nothing wrong with it, it's not tainted, why would you not show that to your family members? Why would you not show that and clear your own behind? I'm being real nice. I'm not cussing because I know I respect y'all a whole lot that's in this chat. I'm not cussing because I respect y'all in this chat. Because normally I'd have more than a few choice words. I never knew him until this. And say is fallen, broken oath where Abraham would grasp by the thigh. Oh, when we break an oath, we sell our field that God provided and in secret keep the benefits. Ananias. Oh, Doug says oh, well, thank you, Cozy Kitchen, for confirmation. I love that picture. Doug White says he takes lie detector quite often, so he must be a pro at taking them. Well, he's not the one they're saying took it. There's Joni at 18 minutes and 35 seconds into the now privatized video. And I challenge this young man to put it back up, but he won't. Um, She remarks that there was a polygraph test that was taken by Pete that exonerated him. So why is it not made public? My thought then, my thought is that somehow this polygraph examiner may or may not be, could be affiliated with her now husband. Now, if I you how far down the road y'all really want to go conspiracy theory? Was no. Terry, I'm very clear that at 1835 she said, well, now I can't confirm, unfortunately. Okay, so I can't confirm because he took the damn video down. So let's say Terry Romero, let's say that he did take it in 2024, then why not? Why wouldn't you produce it? Why wouldn't you produce it? I don't care when you took it. You could have took it yesterday. Why not produce it? Because you know you're lying and the truth ain't in you. I know that man there. Supposedly the company that did the lie detector test wasn't even created. And that might be true. All I'm saying, and again, I listened to it 2 or 3 times. So this is the first time I was hearing about the polygraph. And I could have sworn she said that this was all happened before Marcus passed. But I could be wrong. Oh, I know you know. I know that. I'm just saying if you want to have third party, absolutely. You saw it on Laura Lynn. Oh, she had a polygraph certificate. Okay. I trust that's my girl right there. I love her. I don't know her. I have a feeling she and I are both about the same age. And I know we both had grandkids. Like I really and I she's yeah, I really enjoy her. I like her a lot. Okay, perfect. All right. Here we go. I want to know what Joni said to child. I'm gonna tell you what Joni said to that little girl. Because I've seen this conversation happen to me. Any other time I've seen this conversation happen before, this is what's said. Honey, now I know what you told your mother. You know it's wrong to lie, right? You know Jesus doesn't like liars. God doesn't like liars. Liars don't go to heaven. Now, who did this? Tell grandma who did it. Honey, I don't think I don't think I don't think no. I think there was a little boy there that at school that may have done this. I don't think it was him. And it's really important that you don't lie. on, I almost said Uncle Pete, Cousin Pete, because it really could hurt a lot of things in the family. And you don't want to hurt mommy and daddy, and you don't want to hurt Cousin Pete. And so when you're ready to tell the truth, then you can talk about this again. But right now, we're just going to pray about it, and we're just going to let Jesus handle it. That's what she said to me. If that, I mean, did what I've heard people say before. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Oh, Rosa, Rosa, Rosa chose violence. Dear Marcus Rogers, as much as God tells you, it seems like God would have told you it was a voice text that you're talking about here. Susie, Susie Cat Lamb was not recording herself crying. Oh my God, let me finish watching this. No, he does not say that that girl called her darn self. Why does Pete not come out and just talk to Ed? Because he, oh, that was an X message? Okay. Are we caught up? It confuses. Exactly, and they twist her memories. Exactly. And now, unfortunately, guys, I now and we'll probably go into this another time. Oh, I didn't intend it. I'm gonna have to get off here. Um, but I want to talk about dealing with this with children because I have worked with children and teenagers and how important it is for them to really get her back into some form of counseling, perhaps some hypnotherapy, or perhaps one of us that is not a traditional counselor. And the reason for that is this: we can gently help her work through this really what you would call spiritual, will all I call it also energetic harm, and this imprint that's been made within her body. And it's not gonna get better by just letting it lie dormant. And if anybody thinks that it's not gonna pop up until, oh, she's 20 something, you got another thing coming. No, let's not stick our head in the sand, because the reality of it is when things like this happen to little ones like that, and it's not properly dealt with, to say that justice is not as is less important than the child's healing, when justice is part of the child's healing process, that's like the most one of the most archaic statements I've ever heard. Oh no, just give it to God. I can't. Okay, here. Are you guys ready? We gotta get back because I'm a child. I gotta listen to this. Oh God, we're so far behind. Here we go. Sorry, it's gotta let me see here.
Now, the biblical and honorable thing to do, even though Joni can tell her side from the Daystar, you need to go down there. And I knew immediately, because I made a mistake, I'm about to get a spanking, because I knew that wasn't going to be a good look. So I didn't want to do it at first, because I said, no matter how I go down there, it's going to, I'm going to look bad. People are going to be mad. People are going to be upset. But to me, I care more about being biblically right than what people say. And so at first, when Joni called me, I said, no, I'm good. And I talked to the pastors again. They gave me that counsel. And I understood, okay, this is the right thing to do, even though people are going to be mad. So, I told Joni, look, I don't want you to buy me lunch, buy my plane ticket. I don't want nobody able to be able to say you wined and dined me, you paid for anything like that. Now I will say this. um I asked, could I bring this elder to the interview? You got, I said elder, but it was just really an older man of God that I knew. And the reason why I wanted to bring him is because I felt like I was going into something that, I didn't know what I was going to get. This is Daystar. This is this big thing. Jesus sent them two by two, iron sharpens iron. And so, some of you guys know Corey Minor, the smart Christian. I was like, let me bring him with me. So that way, when we do this interview, we can get all the tough questions, whatever things that maybe I miss, he can be there and we can, do the interview together. And so at first she said yes, she didn't. And then the next day they said, we want all the names of everybody coming. I gave them the names, and then they said he couldn't come. So at that moment, right, I knew I'm about to get a spanking. If I had did my due diligence and used more wisdom, I knew I was going to go down there. I knew it was going to be a softball interview. I knew that I was going to get backlash. So you guys, and the reason why I wore a suit, you said, why you wear a suit? I wore a suit because I didn't know what I was getting into. I'm from a military background. You go to the White House or whatever, you put a suit on. It wasn't like because I see one side better or because I was looking for a job interview. I knew like I'm about to go down here. I'm going to get a spanking. So I went there, they were eating lunch and I didn't eat anything. So it was a little bit awkward.
Okay. So here we go. I let it play a little bit longer so I could update what was going on in my title. So he knew he was going to get a spanking. First of all, why are you going down there with this attitude of you're less than or lower than? Why did you not go down there with the energy of we are both we both have ministries. You put your pants on the same way I do, one leg at a time. I don't care if you got a billion, if your company's worth $1 billion or not. I don't care. Miss me. Okay. So you went down there, you were intimidated by, well, we have to know who's coming. And, I'm sure Joni put on a great show. I would if I want him to do something for me. Dutch, you better shout it from the rooftops. Real prophets walk in power. You better tell somebody. Real prophets also have real discernment. This ain't, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. But there is no way on God's green earth that I'm walking into any room with anybody and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get a spanking because just you ain't my mama. That's the last woman that ever gave me a spanking, and she don't do that now. I'm grown. You got some questions to answer to, Missy. You got some questions to answer for. So he knew it was going to be a softball interview. He knew he wasn't. Why are you going to do it? That means the only reason you did it was so that you could get the clout from it. And I was literally standing there yesterday, like 10 toes down. No, this bro don't need the clout. His whole, he's got 850,000 on subscribers on his channel. His, we don't need the clout. Boy, was I wrong. By the way, can y'all please give me a like? Let me see. Where's my likes at? Where are my likes at? Let me update this here. Y'all, come on now. I only 23 likes. Y'all don't like what I'm doing with y'all? Give me a little something to go on. How are we doing over here on X? I'm sorry, X, and I'm sorry, Instagram that I haven't been over here as much. I apologize, y'all. Give me some likes, you guys. Give me some likes. Let's get this out here. Okay? All right. Um, unless you want to number 20. Oh, thank you, love. Um, what do we got? Marcus is trying to dig himself out of the huge mistake to go in and let Joni. Absolutely, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. It was a huge mistake that he made. Um, in letting her, hang on, in letting her run roughshod over him. All right, here we go. Let me go back here. Let me go back here. Nope, this one here. And it was another huge mistake he made by taking them dang gum videos down because now you look like a coward.
Awkward. And as you guys saw, you want to call it a softball interview, fine. But the bottom line is they showed me stuff that showed me why what I did was foolish. There was stuff that was definitely questionable. And so you guys saw it. Everybody was mad about it. I came back. I prayed. I fasted. I stayed at the church. I said, God, I made a mistake. I jumped in too early. I didn't have both sides. This is way bigger than me. I was not prepared. Now I got to take the hits that come with that. So I prayed about it. I said, God, what do I do? What do I feel about all this stuff? And I do feel like God gave me something. And I'm just going to, after this, I'm going to leave it alone. And, I'm going to butt out of it and I'm going to wash my hands and I'm praying for the daughter. I believe that she's the most important. The situation with Pete, I was praying about the situation with Pete. I saw all the evidence, text messages, things like that. And the only thing that I felt about that, and this is what I feel, this is what I felt God told me when I had my situation with my child. I had to walk in the light, right? Because I believe in not giving place to the devil. If somebody made an accusation like that against me, I would just come out and let God be my judge. Look, I didn't do it. That's me. Some people won't agree with that. I didn't do it. I wouldn't have a problem, talking to police, whatever. Some people argue that he did. Some people argue that he didn't. I do believe that, Pete he's in a place and God is going to judge it. Let's put it that way. It's
Okay, so you believe Pete's in a place and God's going to judge it, but you took all these videos down. I know he did turn off the comments on the video because them comments on baby, hey Liberian lady, Liberian girl. Immediately thought of that song. Because they ate him up yesterday in all them comments. They ate him up in them comments on that video yesterday, on that so-called interview.
it's not on me. God is going to judge it. If there's hidden things and things like
Okay,
that,
wait, I gotta rewind this.
agree with
Hold on.
that. I didn't do it. I wouldn't have a problem, talking to police, whatever. Some people argue that he did. Some people argue that he didn't. I do believe that, Pete he's in a place and God is going to judge it. Let's put it that way. It's not on me. God is going to judge it. If there's hidden things and things like that, my advice, Pete, is walking the light. And I'm going to tell you, nobody on the internet would have ever known that I had went to jail and because I had spanked one of my kids, but I came out, I said it publicly because I knew I didn't abuse my kid or anything like that, and I walked in the light. When the investigators came, I went straight to the police. I gave a statement. I said, yes, I did this. I didn't do it. Pretty much DCFS got involved. And long story short, God, everything got dropped and my name got cleared because I just, I walked in the light. I had nothing to hide, and that's it. So if you're as innocent as you say, walk in the light.
If can we just be real for 2 seconds? Actually, we need to do more talking. I mean, I guess I don't know if I would say we anymore, but actually, Christians need to do more talking. And you know why we need to do more? Why Christians are people, period? Because then this garbage is allowed to fester in the dark. Having been, again, in ministry for officially 26 years, and before I was ordained, a decade before that, all this garbage is allowed to fester in the dark because people don't talk about it enough. I've had so many people reach out to me already. And if I haven't gotten back to your emails, I'm sorry. I will get back to them. I promise you between today and tomorrow. But I've had so many people reach out to me already to tell me about what happened to them when they were kids and they were teenagers and how they were made to shut up and how they weren't allowed to go to the police. And how their parents didn't go to the cops. Why? Because it wasn't the Christian thing to do. We can't tell on the pastor. It must have been you. You're fast tail. You're fast in the butt. You must have seduced him. What? So no, we need to talk. We need to talk. We need to talk. And I would even say, how about a little less praying and a little more listening? Because prayer, you're always talking. That's the difference between prayer and meditation. Prayer, you're always talking. Meditation, you're actually listening. Prayer, you're talking. Meditation, you're listening. And that's when true connection comes. Like I'm talking and talking and talking and talking. I'm not having a conversation with any of you guys, right? So I'm connecting to you guys and I'm choosing to kind of connect with the collective as you guys come in. But it is not as easy for me to connect with you. Why? Because I'm not hearing you. It's easier for you to connect with me because you can hear me. It is easier to connect with God if you actually shush the mouth and listen. Anyway, yeah, they ripped him a new one. Marcus got sucked into Joni's manipulations. Baby, let me tell you something. Yes. And you know what else? He got sucked into. Let me see if I can get my tail over here on this here Daystar. He didn't think nobody was gonna see that. And yes, I do think that listen, when you're I'm not saying that she is a diagnosed narcissist, but when you have narcissistic ways, you are very good at manipulating people. I've dealt with more than one. And can I clear something else up while we're here? She I don't I'm not going to call what she's operating under as a Jezebel spirit. I'm also not going to call what she's doing as witchcraft. Let me tell you why. A lot of times as Christians will call things that ain't. If you don't really understand witchcraft and what it honestly is, stop saying people did it. She's not witchcraft is not the actual witchcraft, guys, is not manipulating somebody's mind. Christians do that all the time. Preachers do that every day, 3 times on Sunday. There is way more to witchcraft than just that. That's just called being a manipulative, maybe witch would it be, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's a whole different story. That's just being manipulative. That's being low down. That's being dirty. That's being disgusting. That's being, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole different thing. Controlling all kinds of stuff. Same thing when people were hollering. I saw people all over YouTube hollering about, "Oh God, she's doing necromancy," when she was talking about the dream she had with Marcus in it, dream and or vision. Guys, the definition of necromancy is to seeking out the spirits or someone that's passed on in the spirit realm for the purpose. So a human that's passed on for the purpose of future telling or being able to see in the future. And if you look in the Bible, that's exactly what King Saul was doing. He was trying to foretell the future. Having a vision of someone coming to you and talking to you in the present moment about present things is not necromancy. Why am I making such a big deal about this? Because one of the things I've seen over my, short little time on this earth, my 56 years, which is a short time on this earth, is that things get called things. Things get there's all this stuff that's lumped underneath these titles and these names and these concepts and operating in the demon. There's a Jezebel spirit that is taken a and the reason why then you continue to see it repeated over and over again is because you're not properly identifying what's going on. What cannot be spoken cannot be healed. What cannot be spoken and named cannot be addressed. You got to know what you're talking about. And this is no shade, no tea. I'm just saying what I want people, what I'm hoping that in some of these conversations that I have with y'all, and I really do hope that y'all stick with me. Please give me a subscription. I know that some of the stuff some of y'all may see behind me, you might be like, oh my God, what is she into? You know what? I'm into love. I'm into love. I'm into light. I'm into wholeness and healing and purpose and prosperity of mind, body, spirit, and abundance in your life. That's what I'm into. I'm into making sure you see this join the Heal the Hurt army. That's my Heal the Hurt 2025 is what I believe I was given to do in 2025, go around the country again and help people heal the hurt that they have suffered and the abuse that they have suffered at the hands of those who are supposed to be taking care of their spirit and their soul. Not everybody may call the same thing the same thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? But we're so quick to put labels and names on things and we don't really understand what they are. And then when you mislabel a thing, do you know what happens? Is that what you're speaking out, the energy that you're speaking out, God created everything through spoken word. We know this. So I'm not saying anything that's demonic here. So listen up. What you're speaking out, then, the very thing you're trying to come against or eradicate, your wavelength is missing it. It could be down here and your wavelength is up here because you don't even know what you're talking to. So I'm just saying, can we learn a little bit more? It's not going to hurt you. You're not going to die. I guarantee you, you're not going to die if you just learn what's happening, right? Okay, so I'm going to help you, and I'm here for you. I love y'all. Okay, Dutch says, and the child is in greater distress that has not been heard. Come on now. And well, I'm not gonna say now in poverty. I mean, I'm sure that there's another term for poverty. Oh, you mean because the parents? Yes, because the grandmother ran manipulation and invoked her self-proclaimed righteousness. Because her grandmother stole her daddy's birthright. Can we just call a thing a thing? I'm gonna call it again. That's my opinion. See, everything stated by me on my channel is my opinion. In my opinion, she stole that man's birthright from him. So this huge empire that her and her departed husband built, his father built. He built this legacy to give it to who? His children. And he wanted his son to run it. Once mama and daddy passed. But there was another, and I was trying to find it. I think it was in Laura Lynn's interview that Joni and Suzy did, I think, which they, yes, it was, where they came out, where Johnathan came out and said that his mother, it might have been Marcus's, I'm not sure, but that his mother couldn't find the newest will. And the only will she could find was back in 2005 when they were teenagers. So those three, Johnathan and his sisters, did not get their true inheritance as adults. It's in one of these that I just did. Thanks, guys. But we never wait to hear from. Come on now. We got to listen. Marcus did expose himself. Ooh. Oh. Dutch, I think you and I could be good friends. What is called witchcraft is really honor of nature. Yes. And what is, but most people don't even understand that. And most people don't even understand what familiar spirits are either. Like, I mean, I agree, Dutch. There's a lot of familiar spirits, but people don't understand, like, they really don't understand the other realms. Yes, Daniel and Joseph. Right. So when Daniel and Joseph sought to get information for the future, were they necromancers? You have to identify the demon in order for it to be cast out. Now, I used to cast demons out, and I'd always have to say their names. Sometimes it's difficult. Like if you have people that are around that are not really like real strong, and they get both freaked out and scared or whatever, or they think that they know what they're doing, and then they're like, "Tell me your name, tell me your name." Well, they have no authority. Like, just a long story. Anyway, but sometimes I would come in because I get called in. Kids were teenagers by now, by this point, so I get called in. So and so and so and so. We got so and so here in the there. In the church, and can you come and help us cast this demon out? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come. I put my baseball hat on and my tennis shoes. Here I go, and I'd walk in. But when you walk in a certain authority, I, I would identify what I would know immediately. Like I could tell by the frequency or the energy of that spirit what that spirit was doing, and who that spirit was or what that spirit. So I didn't. You know, sometimes I would have them speak their names simply because I wanted everybody else to know what we were dealing with, um, or to kind of teach someone else how to kind of do this. But other than that, mm-mm. I'm walking in authority. I don't really. I want to go back to bed. I got to go to work tomorrow morning, and I really don't have time to play your little games because you're gonna want to play games. You're gonna be like, because why? Because there's a group around me that doesn't even understand what. Like, oh God, it's just been a mess. So, child, sometimes I didn't even ask. Just go. Well, I put my makeup on, assumes the power. We'll talk about Jezebel's spirit another time. I really want to get into that. I really love you. I feel like Dutch, we could have like I want you when I have a panel about identifying spirits, and I really want to talk about this because I think that there's something here that we need to discuss, right? Hey Kev, how you doing? You don't need a name. Exactly. Anna's got it. Yes, I agree, Sister Like once we understand that everything is energy and everything's an energetic frequency, and maybe that's why I stopped calling out names because I knew what you were doing. I knew what that spirit was doing and what it was doing to that person. Why would I call out the names? They do expose themselves very easily. But when you have a group of people around you that aren't either they're not used to it or they get kind of caught up in the craziness of what's happening in this moment, it can really like, oh, it's such a pain in the butt. Like, why are you here? You could have just stayed home. Like, and it's crazy because it'd be 6'5", huge men that couldn't hold this little lady down, right? Because she's so strong, because of what's going on. And honey, I could walk in and smell the fear in the room. Why are you grown men afraid? Ugh, just go. I bind you out. Do you want to let go of this one here though? And I'm gonna tell you, there were some people. We're gonna get right back on here, guys. I'm so sorry. There were some people that I would work with, that I wouldn't cast out all their demons or all the demons, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I knew that they were not ready to give them up, and certain ones. There's some that people honestly they want to hold on to because they haven't healed enough in that area in order to really be empowered in that area to let it go. Okay, so whatever that section is, that area of energetic trauma or trauma, right? That is in their being, they're not ready. And if I were to extricate that, what does the Bible teach us? That if you don't refill it, right, you leave them worse off because that spirit will come back, and it'll be 7 times as worse, right? So I wouldn't do that because I I had the discernment to know if I did it in that moment, I was going to end up leaving that person worse off. Too many people play around in this area and they don't have the discernment. Liberian lady, that's how we started out. That's how we started out. Hey Shakima, how are you? I was just thinking about you yesterday. People look at you crazy when you tell them not casting out demons. When you know you ain't gonna stop doing it. Thank you. Now Christina used to be in my youth group. She learned well. There you go. Hey Sheldon. Sheldon, how are you, beloved? Let's be clear, Marcus, as always. I don't know. I really don't like I've been out of this I've been out of this whole situation. So I don't know. I didn't know nothing about Marcus Rogers at all. But a very good friend of mine who also is a moderator here was telling me like that person was like, you don't know about Marcus? And they were telling me about Marcus. I was like, oh no. Oh, I'm so yes, we have to catch up, beloved. Absolutely. Okay, you guys ready? Let's get back to this, honey, because I really, oh child, I have class in an hour and a half. Oh wait, is the document? Hang on, I'm sorry, guys. Okay, here we go.
All right. And so with that being said, Johnathan and Suzy, all right. Um, I apologize for not going down there prepared. If I had more information, then I could have been properly prepared to even ask you guys certain questions that don't put you in such a good light. Because the reality of the matter is, your mother has stuff that she could highlight and put on her platform that would make you look really bad, and then it would be up to the court of public opinion, and she could crush you, but she didn't. And that's just the reality. I saw some of the stuff, and anybody who's objective, you know, if that stuff got put out there, right, the text messages and things that I saw, it would not be good. And so the bottom line is, look, I'm not qualified to judge it, but I prayed about it, and the word that I feel is God showed me Jacob. Right, Jacob was in line to get the blessing, to get the promise, and he went to his father. He put on a costume and tried to deceive his way into the promise. The bottom line is, when you started recording stuff secretly, and then they asked, are you recording? And you lie and you said no. Lying, that is wrong. And my interactions with you and your wife, a lot of times when I was trying to.
Okay, hold on. I will say this: them lying about whether or not they were recording it, that wasn't cool. Unless it was Susie recording it, it wasn't Johnathan. And then so when Johnathan said, when they asked Johnathan was he recording it, and he said no, uh, I mean technically that ain't no lie. I can't defend that, right? Because I'm not gonna. Two wrongs don't make a right. But Joni and Marcus lied straight to their son's face. Agreed, it's a one-party state. So in the interview with Marcus, he asked, "Isn't that illegal?" And she was like, "No, it's perfectly legal." However, in the recordings, when you listen to him on the Roy's report, it does say, and I do have that link down there. It does say, okay, you hear where they ask Johnathan, "Are you recording?" And then he says no. So again, but I think Susie was in that same meeting. So I don't know. But two wrongs don't make a right. Let's just call a spade, a thing a thing. However, had he not done that, and he was told by legal counsel to do that, had he not done that, Or had they known that he was recording, what would have been the difference then? You should be able to be the same whether or not you're recording or not. Okay, we don't need to shout, VK. You could type, no, we don't shout in this channel. Okay? Calm down. I just said I didn't know. Come in here 2 hours later shouting at somebody. Anyway, moving right along. Um, however, I will say this. It shouldn't matter if you're recorded or not. Cause you shouldn't be doing dirt. You shouldn't be stealing this boy's birthright. I agree, Kev. Joni and Marcus lied to their faces about the investigation in regard to their daughter. I completely agree with you. I'm just saying. I mean, you want me to keep it a buck. I'm just keeping it a buck, right? Like I can't say two wrongs don't. Not let's all use our internet. Two wrongs don't make it right. However, I do think that because this gentleman here, loosely, was unprepared, whatever she showed him, and this is a typical narcissistic move. Okay, this is a typical narcissistic move. Oh, well, they said this. Well, I'm going to extricate this information and extricate that information. For instance, he's talking about that email. Um gosh, I multiple times where Marcus was misrepresenting what Joni and Suzy said in the interview. Um oh, here we go. At 36 minutes and 32 seconds in his now taken down and or privatized video where he was talking about this extortion thing for reinstatement. Um and that whether or not the email that was sent to them that their attorney helped them draft, because if you watch the Laura Lynn video, at about a minute 28 hour 28 minutes and 43 seconds is about where they start talking about this whole situation, and they talk about they met an attorney that was willing to help them, and that Johnathan kept asking for a family meeting, but the attorney said no, 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 you do this in front of everybody. And the reason why that they wrote that email that this man here has, and that he chose to believe Joni and not investigate anything further, is that there was an email that Marcus had written with expressly with his wishes, okay, what he wanted to do when after he passed on, and it was an articles of succession. And if you know anything about boards and articles and things like that, when you have articles of incorporation, you also have to have, especially when you have a board like this, you have to have an article of succession. You have articles of succession in case, the president, the CEO, whatever, passes on. So Marcus had already wrote that. Joni agreed to it, but this other Tom, whatever his name is, didn't. Shady boots. So then this lawyer then tells Johnathan, well, I'm going to I'm telling Joni that she can just rescind her agreement with it because all of us didn't sign it, so it doesn't matter. And so this was after Suzy had gotten fired for not reading the comment, and they were having this big brouhaha over the freaking comment about the fact that the one person was supporting her and Doug's marriage. And in order for there to be reinstatement, for them to get back their show back and everything else, there were like these 13 things that they wanted, basic kind of punishments or whatever. And so the lawyer, their attorney said, no, 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 we're not doing any of that. Like, and this is what we are doing. And now, whether or not I would have said this or not, I don't know. But the attorney told them to say, this is what we want, the reinstatement and everything. And then they referred everything to Marcus's wishes that were in his email. They attached that email. And they said, and as long as you do all this and leave us alone and let us have our own belief system and don't try to infringe upon that, then the recordings will never see the light of day. Now that's the boss move right there. Now you can take that as extortion if you want to, but you shouldn't have said what you said in that meeting. If you weren't trying to be dirty and nasty and disgusting and you weren't trying to be a thief and you hadn't lied already, and what was not most important to you was the empire and not your legacy, not your children and your grandbaby, then maybe we wouldn't be in this position. But he didn't even take the time to freaking find out about the rest of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is ridiculous. Like this man here, I, I listen. I'm not. Can y'all? I want y'all to come in real close. I want you to come in real close. Okay, come in close now. I hope that this man actually studies the Bible and actually listens to his creator, his maker, for his interpretation thereof. Because this is not studying thyself to show yourself approved. Study to show thyself approved. You don't even, you inserted yourself so you could get clicks and views. That's why you inserted yourself. Because you thought a little bit more highly of yourself, sir. This is my opinion. You thought a little bit too highly of yourself. You thought because you were this person with this almost 1 million subscribers. I don't know nothing about your church, whatever, but you have almost 1 million subscribers. You get hundreds of thousands of views on your videos. So you thought, hello, you thought, you thought that because of that, that you then were gonna be able to, exercise some, and you had some clout in this space. And even Joni in the thing said in the interview said, "Well, this isn't my area," and yada yada, skippy. This is, YouTube is your space. I got news for you, Miss Joni and Mr. Marcus. YouTube ain't don't belong to him. YouTube don't belong to him. YouTube don't belong to him. YouTube don't belong to him. And even this space doesn't belong to him. All right. How's X doing over here? Y'all doing okay over here? Y'all doing all right on X? Am I still on Instagram? Hello, Instagram. Okay. Hopefully X is doing okay. I know I haven't been over there talking to y'all in a minute. I apologize. Two wrongs don't make a right, but lies seem to thrive. Yes, lies. Lies seem to thrive in that company. Joni sounds bothered by the lies that were used against her. That's a typical narcissist. Typical narcissist. Typical narcissist. They don't like it when you tell that when you use their own words, their own lies against them. So she and what he just did is he became a flying monkey for her. That's what they call the narcs when the narcs send out their flying monkeys to hurt you, to deliver things, deliver because then their hands are clean. So now he's going to say, "Oh, she has all of this stuff on you. She could have ended you." Really? Come on with it. Bring it out. I want to see it. We all want to see it. We the people want to see it. We the people want to see it. You know why we the people want to see it, Miss Lady and Sir? It's because we don't believe you. And we are quite sure that there's an explanation for everything because we're quite sure that you're going to bend the truth to fit your narrative. Yes, everybody, please remember to hit the like button. He's already been a narc. I don't know exactly what you mean by that. But Kev, let me know. Solomon asked for wisdom, not clicks of you. Oh, listen, but Solomon also, we're not gonna talk about Mr. Solomon. I'm gonna leave him alone. To Joni, YouTube is the tank of the bottom feed. It's the tank of the bottom feeders unless she need us. You block flying monkey? Dutch. Dutch. Oh my god, we're gonna have fun. I always ask myself, how did every other content creator talk about this get a cease and desist letter, but Marcus, who wasn't qualified to interview, got an open invite to Daystar? Because I think he's friends with some high powered people. Plus, he been trying to get on Daystar. So let's call a thing a thing. Why you want to get on Daystar, I don't understand. And what people better understand is television is dying. So when Elon said on X, we are the media, he's right. He's right. Okay, here we go.
Hear from you or get an answer from you. Even there was one incident where I tried to talk to you privately. It was like your wife would answer for you. And so, Johnathan, I think that you need to grow. You
Oh, so now you're gonna say, bruh, you're gonna agree with the with the woman over here with the mama. And now you're saying that your wife, listen, Susie does over talk Johnathan a lot, and but he's getting better. He has been subjugated to female oppression and silencing of his voice for a long time. Cut the brother some slack.
need to mature. And just
I'm
like
gonna need you to
with
mature, sir.
Jacob, if you go back to that pastor that you said you trust, that your mom says that she trusts, that I trust, I believe you need to go sit with your mom and that pastor privately and get wise counsel before this thing gets uglier. It's not beneficial to keep doing interviews and keep putting things online. It's dishonorable to uncover your mother. If you
Then she dishonorable. She need to shut her trap, and she should have done right. Get that woman her husband back. He talks about, oh, a narcissist. Got it. He talks about himself half the time. His videos not more than his actual points. Oh, he does. Well, then that makes sense. And one narc loves another one. I can. I could believe it. I can believe it. One narc loves another one. There's no way. First of all, you sat up there and lied to Johnathan and Suzy. You sat up there and lied and told them whatever it is you thought they wanted to hear, because you sat up there and said that you had the discernment to tell that they was telling the truth. And now that you sat with that woman, boy, that you lying and the truth ain't in you.
know some things, see some things, let God be the judge, and go to the elders of the church and let them. I promise, if you go to the elders of the church and get counsel, God will be just and he will resolve it. And so this is the thing, just like, excuse me, Jacob, he tried a deceptive way to get the promise, to get the inheritance, but then he had an altar moment. God changed his name, and eventually, right, he was able to walk in that promise. And I believe the same thing can happen for you. I'm praying for your family. I believe that there can be reconciliation.
There can be no reconciliation. Hold on. Where is it in Laura Lynn? It is in Laura Lynn's video. It is in Laura Lynn's video. God dang it. I wasn't expecting to have to talk about this. It's in Laura Lynn's video where she asked about reconciliation. And Johnathan very clearly says, and that's then here we have another one where Johnathan is really speaking up and speaking out. And Suzy's gonna have to get used to not having to be his voice and her voice and her daughter's voice all at the same time. That's just my, Suzy, don't stop speaking, but let your husband just kind of like come into his own, because he really is. I get it. I don't want you to stop speaking either, because sometimes The wife then has to go against that mother-in-law spirit. Now I'm gonna call it a mother-in-law spirit. Okay. And I'm a mother-in-law. So I know that as a mother-in-law with your son, I'm talking about Joni, you could be over like you can be overbearing, even with your daughter. So yes, Susie has to fight the mother-in-law to an extent because she's got to exercise her. I'm the matriarch of my family, lady, whatever, but I'm the matriarch of my family. And what you're not going to do is do this. But she also needs to learn that balance of letting Johnathan come out. Now, one thing Johnathan did say though in Laura Lynn's interview is that there's no space for reconciliation because his father lied to his face. That's literally what he said. My father lied to my face about this investigation with Pete. I was like, oh, yes, sir, I heard that. And then Susie wants to try to clean it up. Johnathan looked at her like, there's no reconciliation. And I'm sure Susie, from her standpoint, like what I got from it, was she's like, baby, we need a job. We need some money. Like we're being taken care of. But I don't know. Because that's how women think. Like we want the stability. And I understand that. But that's what I'm saying. If anybody can get get anything to them too, please. Y'all make your content on your own channel. Start making content on your channel. Start making content on X. Start making content on. It might take longer to get um on as far as monetize on Facebook, but start making content on Rumble as well. Y'all make some content. Do some teaching. You don't have to talk about this. Yeah, people want to hear about this. But listen, they've already heard about it. There are so many people that are going to support you. They're going to come out of the woodwork if you say we're going to start doing a version of the green room or whatever you want to call it, but whatever version you want to call it, start doing it. Start. There's no reason you can't do it on your own channel. Monetize yourself. Okay? Monetize yourself. And I don't know much about them, but they seem like wonderful, beautiful people. So that's what my advice to them. Does he mean that like the council he was? Yeah, because see, if you notice, he said this whoever this is, the pastor that he trusts, this man here, he trusts Joni, and that's the last person I want to talk to. You know, I I don't what would no, we're going to the law. The same elder that's under Joni and on her payroll. We can't do that. He's choking on his own line. Oh Lord, y'all take it serious, y'all. Hey, Angela Bacata Warrior Rose. Joni thinks she's above everyone, calling them lower level bloggers, bottom feeders. Yes, and bottom feeders. I'm not gonna say she's Jezebel, but you don't reconcile with that. Is just you cannot trust that person as a business person, and unfortunately, they've dishonored themselves as your mother. So what all bets are off. Plus, hello, can we please stop with you got to honor your mother even if she is a complete witch. Now I don't mean a real witch, but you understand what I'm saying. She lied to protect another family member that we believe is not even truly blood. Same blood don't run through all these same people. We don't but I don't believe Pete's blood. He might be family, but he ain't blood family. And I mean, some of us, we put a lot of stock in the fact of the same blood don't run through us. So when Johnathan got married, what does the Bible say? I'm gonna take y'all right back to the Bible. That the husband's supposed to do what? Leave his mom and daddy and do what? Cleave unto his wife. There's no more honoring. Listen, that lady got plenty of cover over there. She covered up good. Trust and believe that. She ain't looking for cover. She ain't out in the cold. He does need to emerge himself. Yes, I think, and I think that they could really do that really well. They could make very good content. I truly believe it. Walking the mantle of Queen Esther. That's lovely. His mama did betray him, so I don't owe you nothing. I don't owe you nothing. He don't owe her nothing.
Your father built this company, and you are his son at the end of the day, but you have to do it the right way. And allowing the media and me and YouTube and news reporters to do it is not the biblical way to do it.
Please, can somebody please tell me that this man, by the end of this video, that I can't believe I took all this time to go through a 16-minute video, that he gets on her behind. I got ready. See, y'all, good holy folks in here. I'm ready to fuss and cuss. I need to be able to fuss and cuss. Y'all might have to plug your ears up. Yeah, it was absolutely horrid. He did not study the background. He don't care nothing about it. But and he took it down, Donna McConnell. I don't know if you know that, but he took both interviews down now. So this is his apology tour. I had to go with this because he took the darn videos down. I wished I had recorded them now. Cabs that I got. Listen,
Do it. Suzy, I prayed about you, and this is what the Lord showed me. He showed me
who's
Jacob
Lord?
for your husband, and he showed me not that you're just whatever, but I saw Potiphar's wife. When you got on that phone and recorded yourself crying to something, so it's like almost like a performance. I get on the phone and I'm crying.
Once again, this idiot don't know what that was. That was a voicemail her friend had. She didn't record herself doing that. I can't. What's up? Where is this man's wife? Will you please get your husband? Get your husband, because he don't know what the hell he's talking about.
And I'm recording myself crying. The Lord showed me Potiphar's wife, and I have to be real. And I have to tell you this, Suzy. Every respectable man of God that I know that has more wisdom than me, I don't know what your camp is telling you, but they saw certain red flags with you not allowing your husband to be the man that he needs to be. And I know you guys are going to be upset. You're going to be mad. Nobody in your camp is going to be happy that I said that. But that is what the Lord showed me. You need to step back and let Johnathan be the man. Johnathan needs to go seek.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, I know a lot about a lot, but even I have to look some things up. Now he done pissed me clean off. Now he done pissed me clean off. And let me show you why. Here's the story of Potiphar's wife. Potiphar's wife is a figure in the Hebrew Bible and the Quran, meaning the Old Testament and the Quran. She was the wife of Potiphar, the captain of Pharaoh's guard in the time of Jacob and his 12 sons. According to the book of Genesis, she falsely accused Joseph of attempted R word after he rejected her advances, resulting in his imprisonment. I'm gonna read that again. I I'm gonna read that again. And I apologize. Who was it that said that earlier? My sister. Who was this that said this earlier? Starts with a R. Where is she? Where is my sister? Let me see if I can find her. Anyway, I showed her Rosa. Rosa tried to tell me earlier that she said that he called her Potiphar's wife. And I apologize, Rosa, because Miss Rosa, I was like, oh, okay. You know, some of these things I know by heart. Some of I was a prophetess, so if you start talking about um Elijah, Elisha, you start talking about Ezekiel, you start talking about all that, we could talk. But I don't always remember all the little bits and bobs. Potiphar's wife is a figure in the Hebrew Bible or the Tanakh, not the Torah. Well, wait, this would have been in Genesis, so this would have been the Torah. So in the book of the law, the first five books of the Bible, of the Torah, I don't remember what Psalms is Psalms, and then there's other books of the prophets. Anyway, but the whole Old Testament is actually called the Tanakh. It is the Hebrew Bible, and also in the Quran. Because guys, in all three Abrahamic religions, there's of course overlap because they all descended from Abraham, right? So Genesis would be basically the same in both the Quran and the Torah. Potiphar was captain of the Pharaoh's guard at the time of Jacob and his 12 sons. This would have been when Jacob and his sons were living in Egypt, but they were living freely. According to the book of Genesis, she falsely accused Joseph of attempted R word after he rejected her advances, resulting in imprisonment. So, you mother trucker, you mother trucker, you are literally sideways accusing. You're sideways accusing, as Joni did, her, Suzy, of lying on Pete. Play that back. You can sit here and say all you want to. This is my opinion. You can sit here and say all you wanna. All you want to. Oh, I'm not saying you da 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 da, you this and you that, the fourth and the fifth. But brother, let me tell you something. See, we both see. I know when somebody's doing a side diss. We we ain't stupid. Mm-mm. This is disgusting. I'm gonna I'm gonna screen record this because you're not gonna take this one down. Cause bruh, you about to get roasted. How dare you? Oh, I'm gonna get out of it, but I'm gonna accuse you of lying.
And news reporters to do it is not the biblical way to do it. Suzy, I prayed about you, and this is what the Lord showed me. He showed me Jacob for your husband, and he showed me not that you're just whatever, but I saw Potiphar's wife. When you got on that phone and recorded yourself crying to something, so it's like almost like a performance. I get on the phone and I'm crying, and I'm recording myself crying. The Lord showed me Potiphar's wife, and I have to be real. And I have to tell you this, Suzy. Every respectable man of God that I know that has more wisdom than me, I don't know what your camp is telling you, but they saw certain red flags with you not allowing your husband to be the man that he needs to be. And I know you guys are going to be upset. You're going to be mad. No.
Of course they see the red flags. She's had to step in and be the protector of her kids because she said multiple times how she was not going to let that family run over Johnathan and tell Johnathan what to do, that she was going to protect her kids so they could miss me with that bullshit. Y'all better bleep that out. They can miss me with all. See, now I'm pissed off. So I see he's calling her Potiphar's wife. In If you haven't heard, this was at the beginning of Laura Lynn's interview. I do have that down below where she plays. This is a voicemail from one of Susie's friends, and when Joni showed up after they told her, "Don't come around here," we know you lied. You're trying to destroy us because you done fired us and everything else like that. You done took the car, all that. So, lady, don't come around. Period. Just give us some space. And then she came and she didn't honor when her own son said don't come around. So mamas just get to do whatever the hell they want to do. No, no, we don't. No, ma'am. See, I can say that because we're peers, lady. I have a grown son with children and a wife. We don't just get to go and just rip child over any boundary they set. We have to honor their household. We have to honor their beliefs. It shouldn't have been so damn important for you to have them read a card or read a comment. Get your behind on there and read your own comment then if that's that darn important. Because you lied about the whole thing about how you got the husband. Because you lied to this man here. Had he bothered to watch thoroughly and take notes on all the interviews, he would have heard Denise Boggs state quite clearly that it was in January, like shortly after, it was like January-ish, February-ish, somewhere in there, that Joni calls her and says, "Can you talk to a friend of mine that's going through a divorce?" But she gonna say that she wasn't even talking to this man until after the divorce was final. So you lied. That's all you do. You lie and the truth ain't in you. So at this point, to me, with all that's going on, she doesn't even deserve to have this whole covering everyone's giving her. Oh, she's part of the body. Is she? Because that sounds like a cancerous tumor to me. Is she part of the body and doing all this? Because this is the problem. This is why the outside world don't want nothing to do with the church or Christianity, because you're willing to say, "Oh, she's a Christian. She's a great woman of God. Oh, Marcus Lamb is a great man of God. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm." Lies to his son about what happened with the granddaughter and the investigation about what happened with the granddaughter. Lies to his face and says that Denise Boggs and what is that woman's name? Other woman starts with a D. That the investigator cleared that man. But that's a great man of God? Oh, but that's right. You want to exalt David and other flawed men of God. It's okay for the men to be flawed, and we're going to say that that's great. They're great men of God, but you ain't got no room for the wife. So you're saying Potiphar's wife, but that ain't got nothing. Potiphar's wife situation didn't have nothing to do with this whole thing with Susie. I mean, with Joni. So you trying to say that Joni that no. So I'm gonna take you at your word. See, this is where y'all gotta really pay attention to how you use your words, because I'm pay attention to words. This is why. This is one a huge reason why I tell people all the time I'm big on words because words create worlds. I'm gonna say that again for the kids in the back. I'm big on words because words create worlds. So when I say, guys, you really need to know what witchcraft is, necromancy is, what is really the spirit of Jezebel. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't just toss that stuff out because it's cute and because you heard it somewhere or somebody else using it. Like, know what you're talking about because words create worlds. So what he just accused her of is exactly what I. That's what I read. So supposedly, what you're because the story of Potiphar's wife ain't got zippo to do with her mama-in-law. Ain't nothing to do with the mama-in-law or the sister or nothing like that. It had everything to do with accusing somebody of SA because they didn't adhere to your advance. They didn't, they didn't sleep with you. You before, sir, since you're supposedly a hearer of the good of the Lord, before you might want to pay attention. You may want to pay attention a little bit more to your Bible because you done ran around here now. You've accused not only a brother, but you probably don't even care about accusing a sister because you sound super misogynistic. And you basically, in your interview with Johnathan and Suzy, basically said that the mama that Joni didn't have no even right to even lead that whole situation. She shouldn't be the leader of Daystar because she's a woman. That's what you said. Now I heard it with my own ears. That's what you said about women in leadership. So you already don't even recognize or you have zero respect for the women in leadership until you're sitting right in front of their face because it's something they can give you. I got to get off this line, y'all. Y'all finna. Yeah, I got to get off this line, y'all. I got to get off this line. Let me catch up, Kev. Y'all, thank you for liking. Please subscribe. You can leave me a little super chat or a little cash app or a little PayPal or whatever, whatever you want. Um, we're gonna be back. I want y'all back. He did absolutely. He needs more than a perspective adjustment. He needs to go back and he needs to really search himself and not be enamored by the glitz and the glamour. She lied to have Joseph thrown into prison or Christian, but this is wrong. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you one thing, Ceresia. The fact that you can say I'm not the best person or the best Christian shows a level of humility and that you're actually trying to be a better person. That you are actually trying to live well, that you're trying to show love to your fellow man, your fellow woman, that you're trying, that you are right, that you are growing and evolving to be a woman that walks in love, that walks in light, that walks in life, and that wants the best for other people. This is some BS. He said, "Oh, this donkey," and soon the donkey will speak. Yeah. It is very wicked. Marcus was called in to bless or curse. Let's hear from the donkey he rode in on. He's sitting on his donkey, and soon the donkey will speak. Yeah. I think the donkey's speaking. Um, it's a lot of pride. Absolutely. Nestor, the Christmas donkey. Not Nestor. I hope Marcus Lamb repented for that lie before he passed. I hope he had an opportunity to do so as well. I do. The whole situation is revealed more and more to me what people refuse to do with Christians. Exactly. They like. So when people ask me why I have all this stuff behind me, because I have found light throughout the ages. I have found love throughout the ages. I have found love and light and God and Creator in so many beautiful places that we've been taught are evil. But there's no way that an eternal God would just leave everybody else and not show himself. Marcus looks like Nestor. Oh my God. What attached to him as he walked through the hall? No, it, listen, if you're an empty vessel, anything can get in. Don't insult Nestor. Y'all crazy. Okay, here we go. We're almost done, guys. I got going. I need to make my dinner.
Nobody in your camp is going to be happy that I said that. But that is what the Lord showed me. You need to step
You're
back
lying and the
and
truth ain't
let
in you.
Jonathan be the
Now
man.
that I agree with.
Jonathan needs to go
But
seek wise counsel privately with the elders of the church and let God judge it and bring everything.
Joni is never going to go under submission. Joni is not going to submit to nothing but Joni. Marcus is gone. She don't need to submit. And if you think she finna submit to Doug, baby, you got another thing coming. Child, she ain't submitting nothing. She running she got these men running around there. Oh, I need protection. That woman, I know. No, baby girl, I see you. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Elders of the church. Where the elders of the church been with that baby? Where the elders of the church been when it comes to that child? Where the elders of the church been when it comes to supporting Jonathan and making sure that his birthright ain't stolen? Thank you, Dutch. Thank you, Dutch. Absolute lies. Yeah, we almost done with this shenanigans. Here we go. Ooh, don't do me like that. Come on now. I don't want this to take no more time. I need to go warm up
to
my red beans and
the light.
rice.
All right. You guys had a lot of information from both sides. And I don't believe that the way it was handled was right. I believe that, this situation with the daughter, however, whatever
Hold on, y'all.
everybody feels about it, it's in God's hands. All I'm saying is there's stuff out there that has not been leaked to the public that wouldn't put you guys in a good light. My advice is to go back to the elders of the church and meet with the elders of the church privately and let God resolve this thing. And Johnathan, if you do it the right way, like with Jacob, you can inherit the promise and God can fix things and he can restore things. All right. And so I apologize to you guys for not being prepared, for not having the right questions, for not having the full information. I did something that was foolish and I made a mess. All right. I made a bigger mess, but God is good and it worked out. But that is my word to you. All right. I saw Jacob and I saw Potiphar's wife, so be careful. We're not operating in manipulation because
Y'all, I don't even know if I could watch the rest of this. I'm gonna be very honest with you. Joni's never gonna submit to anybody else. Never. Failing a little one is failing a little one, regardless of denomination. Absolutely. And this is the thing. Well, that's what he's saying. This is in God's hands, so we all need to be out of it. This is the thing. Putting these things in God's hands, then all that happens is it gets swept under the rug because that's the code for we're not dealing with this. That's the code for we're not dealing with this. That's the code for you don't speak up. Don't say nothing. Don't get the law involved. We just gonna handle this amongst us. That's the bull. Let's finish listening. I can't do this no more. I can't do this no more. This God is about justice. God is about vengeance. But like I've said before too, God also gave you two eyes, gave you a mouth, gave you two ears, and gave you fingers. Do you know what those fingers can be used for? To dial 911. You out of here.
and at the end of the day, you recording conversations and lying about it is wrong. And there's wrong to go around. All right. With Joni, same thing. I should have never said anything publicly, formed an opinion without talking to you first. It never crossed my mind that I was gonna sit down and talk to you. And so, the same thing. There's a pastor that we all say that we trust. He gave certain counsel. That counsel wasn't listened to, and exactly what happened, he said what happened. And so my advice is to go back privately to that pastor, if Johnathan is willing, reset, readjust. Where do we go from here? How can we resolve this biblically and listen to whatever counsel that he gives? When I prayed for you, I saw Sara. Her and Abraham had a promise, and then Hagar came in because of a result of her emotions, and it's understandable why emotions would be there, but because of those emotions, Ishmael was birthed, and now Ishmael is the problem that we're seeing here. But God can fix it. God
Ishmael is the problem that has been birthed. Did that man just say Ishmael is the problem? that has just been birthed. And somehow she's the Joni is Sara, the mother of Israel. That's right, Kev. In other words, you should have just shut up. Let your daughter, whatever happens, let your mama steal everything. Let your mama marry somebody else's husband. Just, I mean, they've justified it for themselves. Just let it happen. Jasper. Hi, Jasper. His pride comes out of his pores. Marcus Rogers needs to truly repent. That's the only way he'll be accepted. Pride took him to Joni, and pride will destroy him unless he truly repents. I'm gonna say this because I really don't. It is what it is, right? There is a religious Christian narcissism that exists, and on the unction, I think it's Pastor Ray Curry. Shout out to the unction. Not that he needs my shout out. He's got way more subscribers than me. But he's called it like it's almost like the Christian Illuminati, the Christian oligarchy, whatnot. And this is where this man wants to be. He wants to be welcomed in the Christian oligarchy, and up until this point, he was not able to because my understanding is he's had at least he's been divorced at least twice, perhaps three times. I think he's on wife number 3 or 4. There have been not just allegations of him, which he was cleared of, the child, harming the child, but physically, violently. But I'm hearing that there's allegations of him doing that also with women and potentially wives or ex-wife. So because of that, and listen, I don't necessarily. I feel like if there is physical abuse, mental abuse, whatever, you have every right to divorce. I don't think it needs to just be adultery. I really do feel like if that's happening, you have a right to protect yourself. My understanding is there's still only one Jesus that made a sacrifice, that your sacrifice isn't necessary. That's my understanding. I mean, I could be wrong. So the divorce issue doesn't necessarily, for me, it's not. And maybe it's because I've been divorced twice, but one time it was abandonment. One time, like literal abandonment, person leaves, doesn't take care of his kids, nothing. And the second time was adultery. So I guess biblically, I probably, but whatever. The situation though is this: is that I'm not necessarily like divorce is not that big of is not a big of an issue for me. But in the charismatic and in other areas of, and definitely the evangelical fundamentalist kind of, for certain people, it's a big issue. So he was never going to be accepted. Now he can because now we've got Joni that's marrying this person and da 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 da, and Joni needs him and his platform. I don't know now what's going to happen, but he's still supporting her. This is disgusting. You literally believed all this BS. And then I'm still stuck on Jonathan, go back and basically kowtow to your mama, even though she lied to you, even though she's done you dirty. Go back. Go back to your mama. This whole Pete thing's in God's hands. No, actually, it needs to be in the law's hands, sir. So you want to cover this up too. For what purpose? What are you getting out of this, sir? Mark my words. It's not going to be within the next month. But if Daystar still remains on air, which they probably will for at least this is December. By March of next year, he'll have a show on Daystar. By March of next year, this man will have a show. He will have he will begin to air his teachings from his pulpit on Daystar. But Daystar is not going to last Daystar, when does some of y'all not gonna want to know what I want to know? Yeah. Daystar is not gonna last past July 7th of 2025 without a complete major scandal. Like this by July of next year. This I'm actually hearing June. I'm gonna go with June first. June initially. Um around the middle of June to the end of June, it's all gonna blow up. And some of you are gonna say, well, this is gonna be God's hand. Okay, we can go along with that. But what all I'm gonna tell you is people are going to reap what they sow. That is the actual law and definition of karma. People reap what they sow, right? You sow bad seeds, you get bad harvest. So all of this that's being sown right now. So about the same time that Doug's, it would have been like what the third year of his anniversary, the third anniversary of his divorce, which would have been May. So sometime between May 30 something, whenever that divorce is final, and I would say into June, there's going to be another major scandal. That's the major kind of scandal, and then we're going to see a major shift at Daystar if it still exists, and it will not exist in its current status by the middle of next year. So I want y'all to mark this date. Definitely by July 7th, the major. I do see potential for arrests being made by that time as well, which is going to continue to further. And then it feels like there's going to be an opening of an audit of the books. But there's more pastors and leaders that are going to leave. Not that many more, because that's why he's out here too right now saying this, so that the pastors that want to stay there feel good about staying there. So he's being used as the mouthpiece and to make a pathway. But I'm gonna say this: I'm not in the church anymore, so y'all take it for what it's worth. But I do not want definitely pastors of color, so I don't want any of my black pastors and apostles and whatnot running over there. Don't see this as an opportunity for you just to jump on TV, because you're going to be attaching yourself to something that is disgraceful and dishonorable before the Lord. I'll use your vernacular. Basically, you are going to be assisting an organization that has put money and power ahead of human life, human decency, and human morality. That's my thus saith the Lord. That's what I'm hearing. Don't run over there, because this ship ain't gonna last very long. This is the house that was once built on a rock, but that rock has eroded and is continuing to erode because the storms that have they did not handle the storm damage when it happened the first time. And mark my words, when the tsunami and the hurricane hits again, when the next storm hits, y'all not gonna be able to walk on that water, because it's gonna come in like a flood. The true truth is coming in like a flood. So all these people that's sitting here doing all this right now and making you feel better about staying there, and any of y'all that's over there on that Daystar channel that feels like you're doing the Lord's work, you better check yourself. You better search your own heart, and you better work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. But to me, he's fulfilling the flying monkey. He's fulfilling the flying monkey. child, because he don't record it and have it on record. I'm telling y'all. So the Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar analogy in this is that Sarah was given the promise that she would birth, right? Uh, that she would be the mother to many nations. Well, actually, Abraham was given the promise, but anyway, that it would come through Sarah. So basically, what he's saying is that yes, she's already participated in this giving birth to, like, the many nations, but this, I feel like she accusing Susie of being Hagar, and that Susie caused all this mess, and then that's what the problem is now: Ishmael, an illegitimate son. Marcus with Joni started. Marcus with Joni started this with infidelity. Absolutely, not Susie and Johnathan. Acts to the root and truth, and with truth. Yeah, thank you, thank you. That's what's called Pauline privilege, divorce based. Well, but I don't. I this is no, because I don't think that any woman, especially, I mean, my mother was severely abused by my father. Did my father come to repentance and all that? Yes, but she was severely abused, as were my one, definitely my brothers, and really two of my three brothers. She had every right to. God did not call her to be anybody's punching bag. God did not call her to have black eyes, multiple bruises, shoulder out of the socket, broken bones. God did not call her to that. So I'll never believe that. So if that's Pauline's privilege, then I guess it is. But I am never in 1,000,005 years going to ever tell a woman that's being abused in any way that she has to stay and be a punching bag. Thank you, Muscle. I appreciate it. He the silkwood shower, not a silkwood. Yeah, I think he does that very well. Your divorce was for physical. Oh, okay, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. My second was essay on the child. Child needed protection. I'm sorry, Dutch. So just dismiss all of that, sweetheart. Thanks, Cerisi. I appreciate you. Devil's number in yours. That's funny. Investigation shut down because there's a major scandal coming forth that's been hiding. I think so too. Why don't y'all take your time to save souls? Yeah, that's great. Reese, guess what? Um, how about that little girl, Reese? How about the people that have been abused, Reese? If again, this is the thing, and I'm not part of the church, so okay. You know what I do know? Do you know what I do know, Reese? Since you wanna, I got time today. I'm gonna take time for you, baby. You could not feel right about it anyway. I don't give a good rat's ass, to be honest with you. This is what I do care about. What I do care about is the fact that how does it look to the outside world, since you're so concerned about what the outside world thinks about Christians? How does it look to the outside world when Christians continually cover up child SA, grown up SA, teen SA, of both girls and boys, men and women? When there's money that's being absconded with and stolen and all that kind of stuff. Well, how do you think that looks? How do you think that looks? Oh, but we're just gonna cover that up. We're gonna sweep that under the rug. Let's just let God handle it, and we're not gonna talk about it. That's how this stuff has been allowed to happen. So if you don't like it, go somewhere. You can go and turn on your own camera, Reese Jordan 907, because you have to have a channel in order to comment on my stuff and be here. Go turn your channel or go turn your camera on. You probably can't do it on your phone because I'm guessing that you ain't have enough people to subscribe to you yet? And then you go do that. You take care of your business. Let me take care of mine. Thank you, Dutch. Goodbye. Absolutely. I'm not here trying to reach souls. You know what I'm here trying to do? Get justice for that little girl. And I'm not. I. You ain't been here, Reese. Why don't you rewind and see what the hell I'm saying? How about you rewind and see what the hell I'm saying? How about you rewind and see what I'm saying? And if you feel like it's lies, baby girl, baby boy, whatever you are, go on. Bye. Nobody asked you to be here. Goodbye. I ain't said nothing that man ain't said. I ain't said nothing. The only thing that I just said is what I see, what I see, and believe is going to happen in the future. So, Reese, bye. Get on. $1 billion. She ain't never going to submit. Bye. Bye. I'm talking about what was said right here. He's the one that called Susie Potiphar's wife, not me. That came out of his mouth. He's the one telling Johnathan that he needs to go back to these elders, not me. That came out of his mouth. Y'all, I'm so done. Oh, permit yourself to be released from the other's vow. Oh, okay, got it. Marcus was unprepared, still is. That prophecy he gave them, no, it didn't come from God. Yeah, block Reese. That'll let Reese go on and turn on their own camera on their desktop, or hopefully you got a webcam for your laptop. Let me finish this, y'all. They now see people is pissing me off. I gotta go. I gotta warm up my red beans and rice. Let me go on. These people would have got me out my. Mm-mm. Oh, he's the one saying all this craziness. Oh, but you're talking lies. I'm not talking lies against nobody. This is his own words. Oh, cheese and rice.
I can restore it. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for your family. It's unfortunate what's happening. I inserted myself. I should not have inserted myself. I'm going to keep saying that over and over again, but God knew I was going to insert myself. Your husband who passed, his name was Marcus. He was imperfect. My name is Marcus. I'm imperfect. God knew all this was going to happen. And I believe that it can work out in a way, for God's glory. As far as Doug, when I prayed about you, the Lord was like, he's here now. Take off your shoes. The place you stand is holy ground. This was a promise to Marcus Lamb and Joni. They built it up. And so it is holy. And so take off your shoes, for the place you stand is holy ground. Be careful how you walk. You're there now. Be careful how you walk. And so with that being said, um, I don't want to say nothing more. I'm butting it out. Yes, I made a mistake. I'll take it on the chin, but it worked out for my God is so good. It worked out for my good because there was things that I needed to see for where I'm going, and I learned my lesson. So I'll take it on the chin. I repent publicly for jumping in, not having all the information from both sides. It was wrong, point blank, period. I'm
Okay, I can't. I can't. I'm done with him. I cannot with him. Yeah, I see how he talks about himself all the time. Sit on his face to shut him up. Anyway, okay. Listen, y'all done, mm-mm. This is all I have to say. Unfortunately, this man got used again, yet again. Um, and to me, you should stand by everything that you're saying. And if there's all this like supposed whatever truth that's out here that we don't know about, then bring it out, bring it on, bring it, because that's all we want to see. And if supposedly this person passed a polygraph as recent as 2024, then where is it? And don't sit here and tell me, oh, well, it's not admissible in court. But in the court of public opinion, it is. Unless, anyway, um, Johnathan and Suzy, stay strong. Stay strong. You get on your channel, you start making your own stuff. You start making your own content. You start, you kick in your ministry. Okay. And anybody that's been involved in this that knows better, pray for y'all soul. Okay, in the description box in the description box, a little bit further down the way, I have an opportunity for you guys to become a part of the Heal of the Hurt Army. If you want to get certified as a life coach, a spiritual life coach, um, I do that. I'm really I'm helping to raise up an army of healers that will work with people who are dealing with church hurt. Okay, and help them do that in a non-judgmental way. And so I really want people that are honestly wanting to help people in a non-judgmental way. So if you're interested, you can click that link. It is in the description on YouTube. I did post it in on X and on Instagram. I think this is extremely problematic. Um, yes, I Cafe. Thanks, thank you. I hope you come back. Okay, we're gonna be. I'm not sure where to go after this. Well, I do know. We're actually going to also be talking about, in regard to the Daystar saga, we will be talking about um, how to help. How do we deal with children or people that have suffered at the hands of others some form of abuse? That I think that's very important, and how some of us that are um, in a different space where we're not really here to cover up whatever's going on in the church, but we're really here to help the people that are hurting. I want to talk about that and just my point of view on that, and then we probably will just kind of, I want to hit some other highlights of some things that I feel are lessons that we can be learning, and how we can begin to live our lives empowered and not dependent upon someone from behind a pulpit to dictate and to guide our relationship, right, with Creator. So anyway, um, and I'm sure some of my regulars, you'll be happy to know we're going to get back and start talking about some of this other pop culture stuff as well. So hopefully you guys stay here. If there's any more stuff that pop up, trust me, I will be the first one to be on top of it and to discuss it. And we may have an open panel over the weekend. All right, guys. I'm going to get off here and go warm up my red beans and rice before I teach my class tonight. Peace, love, blessings, and joy be unto you today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. I love you guys so, so, so much. Namaste. Bye.